Hey, I'm Nayashe.
I'm Rezlar.
And I'm Frosty. Welcome back to the Value Pack.
Hold on, I have to gear check Nayashe right now. Alright, that is some bull jabber. Dude, he CC'd me out of dance. What's happening? Rezlar!
People look at you like you're crazy, and they refuse to admit that it's pay to win, and just scream that it's pay to convenience! It's pay to convenience!
Big money, big money, big money,
Big
money!
money!
Oh shit, we got it! We fucking got it! And welcome everybody to another episode of the Value Pack. We got some shit we gotta talk about, and some shit that maybe we'll have to debate about, but we'll see. Who knows? I have yet to really talk to Frosty too much about this, so it'll be interesting to get his thoughts. But first, I would like to thank our lovely patrons: Infrax, Hawaiian, I Has Issues, Jeremy Johnson, Lord Carrot Man, Minaria, Slytech, Talus, X Septum, and thanks. Appreciate you guys for doing what you do, and also shout out to all of the individual Twitch subscribers on all of our Twitch channels. We appreciate you guys and everything that you do. Nayashe's back this week. Welcome back, Nayashe, from your vacation.
Thank you. It was a shitty vacation, though. I was busting my ass.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is this vacation was spent almost entirely moving into the new place, right?
Yeah. It was.
You like it? It's good.
Oh yeah, I love
everything's
it.
Pog.
Everything's Pog. Like it couldn't have turned out any better, honestly. So yeah, we're pretty excited. We're got a lot of plans for the place, but for now we're looking pretty solid here.
If you haven't noticed already, Nayashe is a little bit echoey because he still has a little bit more to do in terms of putting stuff in the house. So
yeah, this particular room I'm in, it needs like something to help break up the echo.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
like a floor mat or something to help.
It shouldn't be
out.
too bad though. It doesn't sound that bad to me, anyways. So it should be fine. But
Nice.
so we gotta catch you up.
Yeah, I've
you've
missed
been
a
gone
lot.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a couple big things I wanted to ask you about. Like, these are just because we have been talking about it on this show for so long, and we talked about it in depth with Vert. But I just want to get your opinions on these three things. So again, I don't know how much you read. Have you been reading the Global Labs notes, Nayashe, the last 2 weeks?
A little bit, yes. Not in depth. No, like I'm not reading every single line, but I'm kind of reading the highlights of what things are bringing to my, people are bringing to my attention, specific things in the patch notes.
All right.
So I'm definitely not caught up on everything.
Okay, so we'll go through these. There's four major things that I wanted to ask you about, since people haven't gotten your opinion. One is the attack, cast, movement speed, ceiling, and floor is now capped at 250% increase and 50% floor. Your thoughts on this change? So have you read this one? Basically they say the upper and lower limits of attack speed, cast speed, move speed that increase or decrease the character have been applied. Attacking, cast, move speed is 250% based on 100%, and then attack, cast, move speed reduction lower limit is 50% also based on 100%.
I like the change. I think it's a step in the right direction. However, I think they only capped it. They capped the floor at 50% just so that they wouldn't have to adjust any skills, I think. But I kind of wish they dropped it to 30% and then adjusted skills to meet that 30%. But yeah, I think it's still good though. It will help with part of the issue. I don't think it'll solve the whole problem though, but I think it'll definitely help.
Yeah, this is one that I need to see how it feels in game when we get it, because like I was saying before, remember Rezlar, we were kind of looking at it and Divios brought it up when he was in Vert's chat that day, that like if your character's base attack speed is 100% and you have like a 10% attack speed passive, a 15% attack speed buff from skills, and so on and so forth, like I don't know if it's going to, like, can I be slow if my attack speed is 170%? Can I be slowed all the way down to 50%, which would be
Right.
Basically not feel any different at all. But if it's capped at just 50% reduction in total, then it'll be noticeable.
That's what I was assuming. It was
Yeah,
based
so
on.
essentially, here's what it comes down to. And I was trying to explain this to a guildie, and he was just like not understanding it. So I've been trying to figure out how to properly explain how this works because it is kind of confusing. Essentially, there's two ways that this thing could work. One of them would essentially be not super noticeable, and the other one would be pretty noticeable. So the question is generally like, is it 50%? Is the maximum amount of slows that can be applied to you 50%? Or is your speed the lowest it can go 50%? That's essentially the question, right? So the
Yeah.
question is if you're at 150 attack speed and you get slowed by like a bunch of slows, like let's say 200% worth of slows, are you going to be capped at 100, which would mean that you're being slowed by 50%? Or are you going to go down to 50, which would mean you're being capped at 50%? So if it's the maximum amount of slows that are being added on to you is 50%, if that's how it is, then it actually I think is a pretty big change and you would see quite a difference honestly. But if it's you can go down to your speed being 50%, I really don't think it's going to be that noticeable because as you said, like Divios pointed out, like with a bunch of attack speeds, like I'm not confident in saying exactly where you would probably be hanging around with all your attack speed buffs up, like 5 attack cast speed, and I'm assuming like most classes have some sort of attack or cast speed like temporary buff in their class, right? A lot of them do
Yeah.
anyways.
Mhm.
Like all the small things, but if I had to guess, I would say you probably hover around like 130 to 140 if I had to guess. So if you could only get slowed from 140 to like 90, then that's pretty huge. But if you can get slowed from 140 to 50, that means you're still getting slowed 90%. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what it comes down to is
So
which one of those ways does it work? And from the text, I think it works that your floor is 50%, and that's why I think like it's good that they're addressing it and it's good that like they're recognizing it's a problem, but I actually don't think this is gonna fix it essentially.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it,
well,
based on face value. I think it's not necessarily a 100% fix, but I think it's definitely a step in the right direction.
so if you here's the thing is like the black text in this note kind of explains it in that like if your base is 100 and you kind of go up and then when you're slowed you could be slowed down to 50%, but the blue text specifies a little bit differently and says this content focuses on reduction effects rather than the increase effect. Currently, when the effects or special effects of each skill overlap, it decreases movement speed, attack speed, casting speed up to 99%. This is changed part to be applied only up to 50%, even if it overlaps with effects of multiple skills. It is only applied up to 50%. So since this is saying up to, not down to, I think it is going to be capped at
Yeah.
50%.
That's what it kind of makes you perceive it to be.
So we'll see. Yep.
I think the only other thing that they can really do, I think this is, like I said, a really good thing, but I think the other part of it is they need to really drastically reduce the amount of slows that are in the game. I think that's those two issues going hand in hand. If those are addressed, I think that would make everyone feel a lot better about the game. I think
A
there's just way
Maywa
too
would
many
think that.
slows. I think any class can agree with that, except for Suck Wizard. That's the one applying. But no. But yeah, you like look at Guardians. Guardians, like every swing's doing some sort of slow. It feels like I don't know the exact way that passive functions, but um, you got that. Hell, even my class has a decent amount of slows on them. You got Suck Wizard and Witch doing their slows. You got fucking every class. Warrior has Gravedigger and Ground Smash, and Zerker slows. Like every single class has some crazy shit.
Some Mayo slows. So
Yeah.
the just kidding. I want to move on to the DP thing. So they have this thing
Okay.
that you can buy basically with essentially war medals or the new rewards that they're giving us. I believe we're getting them starting Wednesday. Even though I don't
Ooh,
think we're
really?
getting the new Node War system. I think they're changing us from getting medals to these new, whatever they're called.
So we can start accumulating them, kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess so. The Brilliant Medal of Honor, but basically you can use the Brilliant Medal of Honor to put skill points into this passive, and you can only have one of these passives. There's a magic one, a ranged one, and a melee one.
Melee one.
And when you level it up to level 5, it gives you 25 of one of those damage types.
And also, it only works in Node War and Siege.
Yeah, and it only works in Node War and Siege. Does not affect open world, GVGs, Battle Arena, RBF, or any of that. So your thoughts on that, Nayashe?
I think it's interesting, but doesn't that just promote partly the problem of what we're dealing with now? Like,
What do you mean?
well, I mean, like, the meta's primarily focused around Witch Wizard and Sage and Valkyrie and whatnot, but primarily the mages are the problem right now. So them getting more damage, doesn't that
No. Damage reduction. So
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
so
sorry.
when you pick this, so for
Totally
example,
different.
yeah. So if I for example, on my Kuno or Hash or whatever, I go to Node War on, I can level this up to 5, and I'll get all magic defense plus 25.
That's actually huge. Now, what does that number actually mean? Like, is that flat, like, damage reduction towards that type, or is that a...
It's wait, what do you mean? It's just like it's DR. It's DR for that specific type.
A specific damage type, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then,
Exactly.
yeah, I think that's good.
Everyone's picking magic, right?
Pretty much.
I mean, magic affects the most
really no
amount of
reason
classes.
not to. Yeah.
Yeah. It affects the most classes that are currently impactful in wars. I mean, it's
the only way you don't pick magic is if you start fighting a guild and then you realize, like, wait, this guild for some strange reason only has like 3 Witchizards and 2 Sages, and the other like 25 people with this 30-man Node War are like melees that are just annihilating our ass. So let's quickly go swap to melee real quick,
Old school.
Is that something then you can easily swap?
So that's the thing, is you have to spend these medals. So it's not really that easy, because there's going to be other stuff to spend them on. So I don't know if you're just going to always have them available to swap. It might be wasteful.
Yeah,
but
probably.
It'll be something you swap every once in a while, but I doubt you'll be just swapping on the fly.
But so question though, whenever you learn the skill, if you unlearn it, do you have to spend medals to relearn it? That would be my question.
I'm not 100%. Yeah, I am actually pretty sure that is how it works. I think you have to.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I think to obtain, I think you have to basically spend the medals every time, but I'm not 100% sure.
I thought it was like you spend the medals to unlock the skill, and then once you unlock it, you can just like use it whenever, sort of thing. But I mean, yeah, in that case, then yeah, if you have to spend medals every time to like reallocate or whatever, then yeah, you're probably not going to swap around very much.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, someone's like Garga's pointing out, maybe presets might save them. I don't know.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
see.
that's
presets. Yeah.
Yeah. You could end up switching to melee if you fight the 2018 version of Filter. Remember when they were like all ninjas and kunos?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay, so the other
Cool change though.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one, right? So the other change that was kind of big is we got these new crystals. Also, you need the new metals to get them, but basically they are offhand crystals that have ignore all resist, or sorry, not ignore all. I wish it was ignore all. They have ignore resist 10% of a certain type, and you can choose, and your options are basically, so they have 3 stats on them: ignore resist 10%, all attack +3, and max HP +100. That's if you have a Jin version. And then the all resist is always the same, but the attack and the MP is different depending on if you get Jin, Bon, or Wan. So the best one is the Jin one because it gives the most stats. But the ignore resist options are stun stiff freeze is one of them. So you can have ignore resist 10% for stun stiff freeze. You could have ignore grapple res 10%. You could have ignore knockdown bound resist 10%, or ignore knockback / float 10%.
Fuck, I know what I'm getting.
What are you getting?
Getting that grab resist stuff up.
No, it's
No,
ignore.
Ignore.
Nayashe.
Oh, I thought you said. Wait, I thought you said it wasn't ignore and
No,
that it was resist.
No, he
is-
said
I-
because he improperly said ignore all.
Yeah.
It's not
Jesus.
ignore all.
I guess I got
It's
confused in that whole mix-up.
yeah. It's ignore a specific type. So
Okay.
essentially, their
Well, then-
solution to everyone complaining about resist is here's ignore resist crystals. Go crazy. So basically, all the Succs can stop complaining. Is essentially what this is for.
Yeah, I guess if you have enough AP, you don't need the corrupts. What were the other stats it gives again?
3 AP and 100 HP.
That's
I
not
wanted
bad.
to bring something up. Is this?
It's like
I
it's like
I
the
forgot
Black
to talk
Bird
about this. I forgot to talk about this last time, but is this the first crystal where like it's a Gen Bond wand, but it's not that they're like different. It's just that they're better. Like the further you go, I think it is, isn't it?
Arguably,
Wait a minute.
I feel like the glove crystals though are like, because the way they're designed, like you literally just get less accuracy on the bond and the wands.
But they
Wait, what,
give you
what
more
Jin
of
Bond
other
wands do we have for
stats.
offhand?
There isn't one
Like
for
that's my
offhand.
point. Is that
Yeah.
with the Gen Bond wands we have, they give you more of other stats. Like I'm not arguing that like yeah you should get Bond Vipers. Like obviously not. Gen Viper is far superior to the other two. But that being said, like if you want those other stats, those other crystals do exist. It's not that Gen Viper is literally just the other two crystals, but better in every way. Like with the same stats. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was kind of weird, and I don't think I mentioned that last week.
I thought you were gonna say that this
yeah.
is the first time we've had offhand gems that were Jin Bond one.
I think it is.
Yeah, that
isn't
is.
it?
Oh, I believe so. I don't think you can put any
I
others.
can't think of any other gem that
Yeah,
is.
But that's less interesting. So no,
It
I
is
didn't
less
say that.
interesting. I'll give you that.
there. They're both irrelevant. Anyway, so these, yeah, I don't know. These crystals. I mean, you mentioned Succ. Succ's obviously a big one, but the knockdown bound aren't even enough for Succs to use. I think honestly, like for most classes, at least if you have a grab, you probably want to run either 2 grab or 1 grab and 1 float. If you don't have a grab, I don't know. Maybe like what on a Meiwa, would you do 1 stun stiff freeze and 1 float, or just double stun stiff freeze?
No, Meiwa has the passive where we ignore 15% stiff.
Well, wait, did we
right.
even did we even establish, Nayashe, are you giving up corrupteds for this? Like 100%?
So, all right, and that's what I was going to answer actually after that. But maybe. The reasoning would be for like awakening, for example. Pedal drill is used for the core skill for bound, so bound knockdown would be good. And then in the off chance I switch my core skill to the more large scale friendly pedal bloom, which you could use either one, but generally I think most people consider the blooming to be a little bit more useful in large scale. That's that gem affects both of them, so that would be pretty good. And it's definitely more large scale friendly with the HP. So we'd lose the crit damage for sure, but I don't think that would be all that bad considering what that could potentially do for you. Definitely would be better than 1v1.
Since I grind with Kudum, I'm happy to lose the resist or the crit in my maneuver for not having to get resisted as much.
Yeah, the consistency actually goes a long ways. Like, as long as you can just grind up enough AP, then there's no reason not to use these gems. If you're like behind gear-wise, maybe that's an argument for keeping the corrupts, or if you're doing PvE content, that's obviously a good argument for keeping the corrupts, but I think for PvP, these resist gems are kind of like the way to go. These anti-resist gems, I'm sorry.
Rose, you would keep your corrupteds?
His
Probably.
blue crit gems. He's on a budget, Frosty.
All right. The other big thing from last week, the last major thing that we didn't get to talk to you about was Wizard and Witch Succession.
I know.
Got some significant nerfs. Absolute Meteor Shower and Prime Meteor Shower both had their super armor removed. And then Prime Voltaic Pulse had its super armor removed, and Prime Voltaic Pulse hit rate, the accuracy on it went from 30% to 12%.
So massive. Holy shit.
Your thoughts on the awakening? I mean, sorry, on the Succ changes?
Well, one, great changes. They needed to happen. Um, I've heard from other players, I'm not going to state this, but I've heard from other players that this isn't enough, that there's still more to be done. Because they kind of think that it doesn't really solve the problem, and this is coming from them, not me. Um, for example, what I kind of told you earlier, basically they think that players are just going to switch to Bolide, um, which I'm not sure how that really makes it
I
so
feel
much
like
different.
anybody who says they're just gonna switch to Bolide hasn't actually used Bolide in the Succ kit.
Yeah, so
That
I'm
skill
not
fucking
sure.
that skill doo doo, man.
Yeah, I personally don't know anything about the difference between the two, so I can't really comment on that. The other thing is they were complaining that, well, it's still gonna have frontal guard, blah blah blah, but it's like, I think Frosty, what you said earlier is that basically it doesn't have frontal guard during the actual attack animation itself, so they're definitely
Yep.
more exposed. So
Yeah, because you
overall,
gotta
I think this
remember
is definitely positive changes.
it's frontal guard right now. It's frontal guard at the beginning and then turns super armor, right?
Currently, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
So
problem is
basically,
you
once
just never get to the point where you can actually punish that frontal guard,
so
it feels
essentially,
like.
they're changing Meteor to be like every other charge ability in the game, where while you're charging it, you get frontal guard, but the second that the ability starts coming out, you're unprotected,
Well,
right?
it's funny you say that because that's how they were, but then they started switching a lot of classes that had that around. Because my class, Awakening Petal Bloom, was actually that way. It was frontal guard while you were charging up, or then they swapped it to super armor, but they made it unprotected on the attack. But then they went ahead and just removed the CC entirely and then made it full super armor. But then they made it a core skill for the CC. So, and then they did the same thing, similar situation to Sork originally, right? Frosty, wasn't Sork the attack for Grim
Yeah.
Reaper prior to the core skill? It was unprotected.
So the thing is the Prime Meteor and Absolute Meteor are going to be unprotected during the hit at the end completely. They'll be forward guard only while charging, and then the other version of Meteor, the PvE Meteor that a lot of people take, that has a little bit less range, slightly smaller AoE, and no CC at all, that one will remain frontal guard for the whole way through.
That's fair. That's fair. It doesn't do a stiff or anything.
No, it's just damage.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's a lot of damage though, but it is just damage.
I find it funny that people are saying it's not enough when we don't even have the changes yet.
Yeah, I
Well,
want to
they're
feel
just-
it. Like
Yeah.
It might not be enough. I still am like worried about range damage, but I still think that you can't make an additional change until you've
That's-
had this on the server.
That's the other thing they were saying. They're still going to have their damage. It's still going to be a problem in large scale. And it's like, well, yeah, there's that potential. So
I was I was talking to my friends about this, and I don't know if I brought it up Reslar last week, but I want you to just imagine right now every other kit in the game. Okay, just scratch Wizard and Witch from your mind, and take two of arguably the most important skills and remove their protection, and tell me that class wouldn't be absolutely devastated by that change. And this class were like,
Yeah.
is it enough?
yeah, that's the funny part. This kit is just so like overloaded. That's
Yep. I mean, that just shows the shit situation we've been in, and now they're finally recognizing it.
well, it's
Who
like
knows who
it's-
knows what the catalyst was? Sage. Sorry, what?
well, yeah, they
What
got to
was
make
the
sure
catalyst
everyone
for
swaps over to Sage and buys the costumes. So
I
they
don't
gotta
see how
beef
you
it
could
up.
look at the following patch notes and make that argument, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sage is still going to be strong, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
I'm not as familiar with the Sage nerfs. I know I mentioned that this
Yeah,
recent
so
couple of
because I want to go into it's sort of a totally different topic, the bounty stuff and the sheriff stuff, which I want to get into
Yeah.
in detail. So let's just
God,
talk
I was
about.
I was watching your stream when you were going over that, so I kind of am familiar somewhat.
Yeah, so let's just talk about the Sage first, since we're on the topic of balance. So Sage in the following patch, on Global Labs, Sage got nerfed, And the thing is that's crazy about it is, to me, is just how fast it happened.
Yeah, in comparison,
Yeah,
kind of interesting.
I don't know. So,
they didn't have their reign. The reign was short.
Yeah. So obviously now, actually, the other thing is a bunch of classes got buffed. Maywa not being one of them. In are there any? I don't know if you looked through those changes. Were there any classes before we get to Sage that the buffs are like you're like kind of worried?
Mystic is pretty busted from what the patch notes look like. Is that
Mystic? Yeah, they got a lot of damage buffs on Mystic.
Yeah. It's specifically Succ, or is it both Succ and Awakening?
Both, but the Succ ones were more.
Gotcha.
For me, it's the Dark Knight ones are crazy. I mean, I'm not worried about it.
Wait, what? What did they do to Dark Knight?
So Dark Knight.
How do they buff Dark Knight damage?
Well, they buffed Dark Knight's damage a little bit on some skills. This most significant one probably being Spirit Legacy. Got a 14% buff in both kits.
Oh shit, that's actually pretty huge.
But they also increased the duration of the iframe on Dusk, which is their side dash. So the iframe lasts a little bit longer. It's more akin to like Sork's iframe now at the end of it. And they made Twilight Dash super armor.
Oh my god, no they didn't.
On both kits, yeah, they did.
Fucking Christ.
Does that upset you?
DK is going to be a very popular class here soon.
Yeah.
I have noticed a lot of DKs on the dummies since that change hit Global Lab.
Yeah. That's pretty huge. Like they've already hit like fucking trucks, and then you just
dude.
You give them a little bit more damage and then more protection.
Weird thing where people think DK does no damage. Like you're crazy, man. That class does crazy damage, dude.
Correction. When I say more protections, I mean a little bit better survivability. That's what I should say. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. Holy shit.
I think it's worth pointing out. I do think it's worth pointing out though that some people are saying that the reason it got buffed so much is because PA is expecting people to take the magic DP in the like large scale thing, which is also going to affect Dark Knight, obviously.
So they're preemptively buffing them to counteract the
That's
passive.
what some people are saying. I'm not saying it, I'm just pointing out what I've heard.
I don't think
so. Where's the tamer buffs then?
Yeah, exactly. Like they didn't buff all the.
Like if that's the case, where's the fucking tamer buffs? Poor
Yeah.
tamers. They never get looked at.
Yeah. So the Dark Knight buffs look pretty crazy. All right. So Sage nerfs. So here's what they said about Sage. So now we're caught up. Nayashe's all caught up. Fast forward to the most recent global app, Sage. Since the character-related details were updated on the official Korean server last week, we've received a lot of additional comments. Among them, the most popular opinion was the power of the legendary Sage. In the last patch, we adjusted the power link of the cracks, which is Rift Chain, to be visible when used during the cooldown. Nevertheless, due to the relative ease of manipulation and terrifying damage, the entire character can be adjusted large or small. Despite this, it has a victory 3, sorry for these translations, but it showed a performance that was too bouncing. In actual data, damage and kill death.
Wait, too bouncing?
That's what it's saying right here.
Video Foundry didn't translate
this Google Translate at a rave, dude. Yo, this is bouncing, bro.
This is bouncing.
In actual data, damage and kill death ratios in large-scale battles, including Red Battlefield, were about 2.5 times higher than that of characters other than the Sage. It was determined that further adjustments were necessary. We made one more downward adjustment. So what they did is Prime Rift Chain is now super armor while it's on cooldown instead of always being iframe.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, BD Foundry's in chat. They said the blue text isn't translated. Sorry.
Rip.
Fair enough. So yeah, when Prime Rift Chain skill during the cooldown, super armor is now applied during the cooldown. So that means that they can, it's a 4-second cooldown. They now take damage every time, or can take damage while in Rift Chain. The second thing is they added a buff to Rift Chain to kind of compensate for the fact that they will be getting hit more by giving them all DP plus 20 for 2 seconds upon using Rift Chain and grapple resist plus 30%. Now, I don't know if this...
Wait, what?
Yeah, well...
Grapple resist?
It's a 2-second buff, I believe. But the thing is that I'm not 100% sure on is if you only get that 2-second buff during
On the super armor.
Well, no, when it's used off cooldown. Like I don't know if it procs every time you use it or if it's only.
I'm sure it procs every time.
You think it procs every time?
Yeah, because what is it? A 5-second cooldown on Rift Chain?
4-second cooldown, yeah.
4 seconds. Yeah, I'm sure it procs every time.
Yeah, that one's kind of interesting. It's gonna be super hard to ground, but they'll at least take damage and be able to be slowed and debuffed.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where's my 30% grab resistance on my chase? What the fuck?
Your chase has an
is
iframe.
that? Oh my gosh, that's an iframe.
So the flow finishing touch skill, which is the flow after spatial collapse, which is SF for anyone who's played it doesn't know the name. It's now been given a cooldown, and the cooldown is 17 seconds. Spatial collapse itself, I believe, is an 11-second cooldown, or 10 or 11-second cooldown. So now they can't use the flow. That's the ranged float. That comes up after spatial collapse. They also cannot regenerate or lower the cooldown of their E-buff as quickly anymore by auto-attacking. It now takes about twice as long. Because of the 4 hits during the auto attack, it only counts towards overdrive twice instead of all 4 times. Basically in all forms of the attack. And then they can get it, I guess, by jump attacking, which I think is a lot slower. And then the PvP damage of the following skills, Prime Void Gateways, has been decreased by 14% and Spatial Collapse by 18%. So just sticking with Succession, Rez, you said that you still think it's going to be very strong. So what are your thoughts on these changes and where it's going to be after?
Yeah, I don't know. I still think it's going to be fairly strong because I think the strength of Sage is like getting lost in the chaos, right? So I don't know. I think it's still going to be fairly strong. You're going to see a lot more Sages, especially if they're under geared, like getting just exploded out of their Rift Chain because it's super armor now, so they're just going to die.
Oh my god, I can't wait for them to complain.
But yeah, I don't know.
She's toxic.
I almost feel I honestly almost feel like with these changes, they should just make it invisible again. Honestly, I kind of do feel that way. Like if it's gonna be super armor, so now you can just blast the area where you know the Sage is. I feel like that's almost like a little bit too much, maybe for like, especially for 1v1s. I know they have like grab resist, but like you're going to be able to just like throw slows out, which they're already a pretty slow class. You're going to be able to go for the grapple. If they resist it, it's not like they can really capitalize on it anyways, because they're going to have to come out of Rift Chain to like use an ability, and all their abilities are so slow. So I think it's going to be a pretty harsh in 1v1s, and it's going to be a decent nerf in large scale. I think good Sages will be like, they'll find a way around it to still perform, but it's definitely not going to be this thing where like you pick up the class. It's not going to be the new Succ Wizard anymore, basically, where you just pick up the class, you learn the keybinds, and then you're getting like fucking 40 kills in a 30-minute node war.
I've seen someone post a meme on Reddit saying, wait, so Sage has to actually like position themselves properly now before they just dive in? I don't know what the deal is with Sage and large scale, because I obviously have been out of the large scale.
Let me describe it for you, Nayashe. So I merked into Black Rose last week, and they have a few strong Sages in there. And here's kind of the play style that everyone's doing, and Pax believes it originated from digital. Basically, the shot call is Sages go in, everyone wait. Sages cause disruption, gets people to pop PAs or Vs or die. And then after like 5 or 6 seconds of the Sages fighting, then you PA push and you dive, and then both guilds fight it out. And then everyone dies except for those original 5 Sages that went into at the beginning. They're still alive.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, they were like
insane.
Borderline untouchable in wars, because they almost always have their E-buff up too, because of like during any downtime you're just getting it back. The thing is like I don't know.
That's
I'm not
insane.
sure about the being able to see it res. They actually kind of doubled down on that and made it so you can see it now with, I believe, with your effects off, because it's mentioned the effective rift chain has been modified so it's displayed normally even on low graphic quality. So I think they want you to be able to see it now, and they changed their mind on that direction.
I think it's good that you're able to see it.
But
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
just
too sure.
like, how are you supposed to 1v1 with that? Is my only thing. I don't know. Like, it's already like 1v1s are literally. I mean, I know like bias because Zerker, right? But like every time I see a Sage that I have to fight, I'm literally just like, okay, it's just a free win. I basically just walk towards them, wait for them to blow all of their stamina or try and cast an ability, and then it's a free grab because I can just follow them around. So I don't know.
Oh, you don't have to mini map it anymore.
Yeah, it must be nice to have
No,
that
that's what
ignore
that's what
grapple res, because I won't be able to
that's
do
what
that.
that's what the change is that you the change is now it's just visible like on your screen
Well,
whenever you're fighting them.
only when it's on cooldown.
Yeah.
Right. The iframe version is still invisible. But I mean, the thing is, I said ignore resist again, but I meant grapple res. Yeah, you have that ignore grapple res, so that's easier for you, but for me, I have to deal with the grapple res, which I already get my grab resisted constantly by them, so it's going to be a nightmare for me.
Yeah, I know, and
Yeah.
that's why I said like I know it's kind of biased because even on the off chance that I do like if they properly dodge a grab or if they resist it, it's like okay, next one. Okay,
Oh,
that one didn't land either. Next one. Alright, that one didn't land either. Next one.
On
weird
on,
So
that
on
I
Zerker?
I am
weird that
perfectly
warrior
understanding
doesn't get
that there
affected at
is some
all.
implicit bias in my opinion towards the class, but I don't see how that class is supposed to do anything in 1v1s, honestly. It feels like it's almost as bad as Awakened Witch Wizard in 1v1s.
It has, I mean, if there's a silver lining to this for Succ Sage fans who are upset about this, and maybe it'll never happen, but there's no way in the state that it was in could you ever have buffed their 1v1 because people would have been pissed. Like if you buff anything on the class, because people don't look at changes as 1v1 focus or large scale, you know, they just look at, wait, you buffed this class, but it's so good, it's dominating. So now that they
Yeah.
nerfed it, like if they got some sort
Now
of
there's
buff,
some room for
yeah, that affects 1v1,
1v1.
mostly, people won't be like upset about it. But I also think, Reslar, that it's going to still be very, very strong. Now, most of the ones that were really, really bad are not going to be able to pop off on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people that don't know how to position, but really good players will. I mean, they only nerfed the damage on 2 of their abilities. Void Gateways, I don't even think that damage nerf is that big. The Spatial Collapse one is, but Ator's Fist is still going to hit super hard. I don't know. F, SE, both still going to hit super hard. The Flow of Finishing Touch still is going to hit the same. Ator's Energy. So I don't know. I think the damage is still going to be pretty nutty. But we'll see. We'll see. Now they'll actually... Like, the thing is, I think the difference with the SA is... I mean, basically, you're not going to be able to stay in the fight forever. They're going to be able to go in, attack a couple times, and then they're going to have to... Yeah, they're going to take slows and stuff and actually lose some HP and then be like, shoot, I got to disengage and either S block or... Like, that's the thing that's crazy. Is like they gave them... Remember, they've changed their S block so like it actually recovers stamina? But these Sages are never S blocking because they never run out of stamina anymore because they also changed how much stamina Rift Chain uses. So they're like very rarely even S blocking. So now maybe they'll have to and give the guild they're killing a little bit of time to breathe.
A breather. Let the guild recover.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's crazy. Well, it sounds justified based on how you describe that playstyle.
Dude, it's crazy. Nayashe, their E buff gives them 15 seconds of super armor as well as like crit damage,
See, that's
critical
just,
hit
like,
rate, and
crazy.
30 AP. And it can be reduced by auto attacking. So it's like they basically always had their E buff up every engagement.
That's insane.
Yeah. So Awakening got some buffs. Rez, do you have one tagged or no?
A Sage?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So Awakening got buffed, and they're pretty significant buffs because, all right, so the first thing, Radiant Annihilation, which is their F ability, now gives them 9% accuracy for 10 seconds. The skill used immediately after switching from awakening weapon to main weapon and from main weapon to awakening has been improved to smoothly link. So C-swap's been improved. When bolts used, the character is improved to rotate the direction of the camera. Flow judgment has been improved to hit enemies located in high places. And then this is the big fat change is overcharged bolt has been improved so that it can be activated even during the cooldown time. So now anytime they use an awaken ability, they can use their iframe if it's on cooldown, even if it's on cooldown.
The fuck?
So they can like iframe, RMB, iframe, or iframe spacebar, iframe spacebar, iframe spacebar, like over and over and over again, basically. Now the thing is like it sounds a little bit more scary on paper. I do think it's really good, and I think that they're going to be strong and kind of scary. But the difference with them and the pre-awaken kit is that their iframe actually consumes a shitload of stamina.
So they can't do it infinitely.
Yeah, you can't go super far. You run out of stamina pretty quick if you just spam it, so you still have to use it wisely, but now it makes it so they can get in and out of places if they're smart about their stamina management. The other thing it kind of majorly affects is since every awakening ability overcharges your iframe, meaning you can iframe again whether it's on cooldown or not, it kind of fixes Rezlar's issue, which I was thinking more about this. Rezlar, you pointed out that the downtime of a failed grab is too long. Now there's virtually zero downtime. Like I was watching the grab animation. Let me see if I could find it. I don't know if you saw it.
If you cancel out of it with the iframe,
yeah,
I saw that as well.
It's no downtime whatsoever. And I was also thinking about I wonder why when I went and tested it and Armin went and tested it that it felt like normal iframe fail. And I think it's because when you're in an actual fight, when you fail the grab, you iframed before and your iframe's on cooldown, and that's why the downtime feels so long. It's not actually the recoil of it, it's that you can't iframe again because of the 2-second cooldown.
Yeah.
So that I think that's why it felt so bad to you compared to normal like failed grabs. And now that's gone. So
yeah.
Yep.
I don't like the idea that a failed grab has like almost no recovery animation.
Well, it's at the cost of stamina, right? Is the thing. Frosty pointed out that iframe, it actually costs quite a bit of stamina. So to me it's essentially like a choice. It's like is this grab fail going to put me in danger? Because if it is, then I can use some stamina to kind of like get out. But if I'm not really in danger, then I don't really need to.
I linked
At least
in
that's
chat.
the way that I look at it.
I linked in chat the gif of basically him iframing to the side, failing the grab, and then iframing again, so you could see kind of the recovery time. And if you look at like the button combination, Nayashe, if you want to look at it, you can kind of see like how basically instantly he's out of the failed grab.
So that's just that's like no key input whatsoever.
I like how that's the part Nayashe cares about.
Well, I mean, he pointed that out, but it's like,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, we should really make Guardians work harder for their grind. You know, they have it too easy.
well, no, I mean, he was just pointing it out. Like, look at the keys. So. But it's like you get back-to-back iframes like that, and it's just like I'm sitting here starving for a fucking usable iframe that I can do on demand. It's just
unfortunately, this
and it has a grab.
doesn't show the stamina consumption, but there's a video. Let me try to find it. There's a really good video that someone put up.
Is it kind of like when Musa in Succession, when they would use one of their skills on cooldown, it would just be like 600 fucking stamina or some shit?
Are you looking for the other gif of the person like using a bunch of skills back to back, essentially?
No, I have a video of him here it is. He basically demos all of the changes really in a nice neat little package here. Here's the video URL so you guys can look at it. But basically like he pulls up the change on the screen and then shows an example of the skill and what it looks like now. But you can kind of see when he does like the movement combo of just bolt space, you can see how much stamina it uses, and it actually burns through a lot. So the bolt one is, I think he said at the very end, yeah, if you go to like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, 2 minutes 30 seconds. He says movement combo, and you kind of see like he runs out of stamina pretty quick and doesn't really get that far if he's spamming.
Yeah, he goes the same distance as like 2 fucking prime rift chains.
Yeah.
He does blow through his stamina really fast.
But I
Not
think
even
that
that far.
I think you can do a more efficient version within fight by using RMB and weaving in skills that are super armor, because now like that's the other thing is you're recovering stamina during like shift LMB, shift F, even like any of the core skills that you take that have protection. So you can like bolt, use a skill that recovers stamina, and then bolt again, and like your within fight mobility is going to be pretty crazy.
Dude, Godna's back. He used to play Musa. I didn't know he was back. Huh.
Yeah, so this one is yeah, this is a guy that's spamming. I think he doesn't have his thing up, but I'm pretty sure he's just spamming RMB. In this streamable link. So if you don't use spacebar, but you don't go very far, I mean you really don't. Like he's kind of using it just in a circle, but that's if you iframe RMB, iframe RMB. So I don't know. It's kind of like a Succ spamming WW from their hotbar, like the hotbar WW.
Definitely
Except
means
for
that
this
you can
guy's
do.
definitely unprotected more.
Yeah, he's unprotected. So he's first of all, it's different because it's iframe into SA. Bolt starts off as an iframe and ends as an SA. It's also a little bit different because he's using RMB, which is forward guard when it's off cooldown every 5 seconds, and unprotected when it's on cooldown. So every time in between, kind of like, I guess maybe it's more similar to like a tamer spamming WW, I guess. But it uses a good amount of stamina. I don't know. I don't know. It's very Succ-esque. I think it's going to be scary in 1v1s, honestly. And it might give them a nice, like, oh crap, way to get out of bind in large scale.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, they definitely can't travel very far after doing it, so it seems okay.
Also, can I just pause for a second? My brain just processed something. Did the person whose movement combo consists of holding down right click talk about a key combination for movement purposes?
No, that was in reference to his iframe into grab into iframe.
Yeah, you know. It's fine.
So can't be touched into I can touch you into I can't be touched. So
Into I can touch you.
yeah.
That's a way to put it. So that's kind of the biggest change. They also changed it so you can use the bolt skill from Awakening, so you don't have to use spacebar or an awakened skill that brings you from pre-awakening to awakening anymore. You can actually just do the awakened iframe to go back to awakening. I believe when Rift Chain's on cooldown that it's going to default to that, similar to how Nova's works with Icy Fog. Or Icy Mist or Misty Fog or whatever their pre-awakened scoot is.
Foggy Mist.
Yeah, something like that. It's been improved to attack the opponent faster when the C skill succeeds, and then some bugs, and then I don't know, some other little things. Oh, and this one's also pretty significant. After using the following skills when linked with Upsurge skill, it has been changed to attack forward. So if you use a Impaling Flash and press S to disengage, Shock Relay, Chain Lightning, or Radiant Annihilation, and follow it up with Upsurge, it's not going to do the lateral version, it's going to do the forward attack instead. So it'll be kind of nice. It has a lot more range that way. And they fixed the damage, so the damage is the same either way in a previous patch. So yeah, those are the changes. There was nothing else significant in for the other classes. So thoughts on any of that? Any closing thoughts on the Sage stuff? All right, moving on. So,
OP.
OP.
I don't know.
So the one interesting thing that got me the most hyped in this patch is in the blue text, they said, quote, Also, comma, please note that there will be PvE adjustments for all characters following last week in the next week.
I like how you put emphasis on the comma.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that means this week on Thursday that we get some
Get some
PvE changes, because there are a lot of classes that are really bad at PvE that need to be brought up. There's a lot of classes that are average that deserve to be brought up to above average, where some of the better classes are. It is interesting to me that it says for all characters, meaning even like Striker Lawn. Not sure if that means they'll all be buffed or some will be nerfed or what, but they'll all be touched in some way, shape, or form, according to this. But it also could be, someone was pointing out, like that could also just mean like for Striker they're gonna buff Awakening because it's not as good as Succ, and for Lawn they'll buff Awakening PvE because it's not as good as Succ, and so on. But that's a good thing. I cannot wait for that. Like I'm sitting here like, okay, I have two chances. I got my Awake Kuno and my Succ Kuno. One of them's gonna be really good at grinding after this, right?
Oh man, you're too optimistic.
Fingers crossed, dude. I'm feeling it. I can't wait.
You're forever gonna be re-rolling via the tag system. So I don't know what you're even thinking here. You're destined to just spend all your fucking in-game silver on that shit.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I've only spent 19 bill tagging.
Yeah, I know. I listened to that. Didn't you say that last week? 19 fucking bill.
That's pitting. Hey, considering when the tag system came out, that's not that bad.
That's some huge upgrades for me. That's 2 major upgrades.
Yeah.
I'm so behind.
3, if you count swapping from Offen to Zarka. All right. The bounty system. The bounty system. You ready? This is
let's go into this madness.
Wait, before we get into the negativity, let's talk about this encroachment barrier. Basically, like the Zarka quest, that's going to be 5 stages. Says you can do at least the first stage with 3 people, and then 4 through 5 are going to be, you have to do it by yourself. But basically, you get a bunch of Zarka auras. You're going to get 50 Cron Stones for stage 1, 250 Dust for stage 2, all DP family-wide for stage 3, max HP plus 20 and 250 Dust for stage 4, and then all AP family-wide for stage 5.
Sounds amazing.
So essentially a journal-esque type thing. So 1 AP, 1 DP. Does that give either of you guys a bracket in either of your specs or get you close to 1?
Gets me close.
I don't pay attention to DP brackets.
What about AP?
That
What
means I
about
can switch.
I mean, you
from
get all
Offen
AP
to
plus
Zarka
1
with no
as well.
loss.
Level 5 is all AP plus 1. Family wide.
It doesn't really give me anything, unfortunately. I guess it puts me 1 away from 277
Okay.
in Awakening.
Gets me to 299 with pre-weekend. So I can swap to Zarka and have it at C1, and then I can, not be punished for, doing the swap. So
Hey, nice.
We also need to talk about the best change in those entire notes, which is the buff to the Elvia daily quests and the addition of a weekly for Black Star mats. Appreciate that.
Oh.
wait, what was that?
They're buffing people who are going the wrong route. Just kidding. They're making that path to nowhere easier.
It's just to help you realize it sooner.
Yeah, so all the places have a weekly quest now that gives you an additional 2 routes, right? Basically.
Yeah, I don't remember what the reward is, but yeah, there's a weekly, and also they're reducing a lot of the numbers that you have to kill for the dailies, which is good because it is kind of ridiculous. Essentially, every single grind spot, other than Nagas, I believe, basically has like 2 really easy dailies that you can do in like less than an hour, and then for some reason 1 outlier daily that usually takes like 2. It's really strange.
Right.
It takes me a decent amount of time to do the 3 at the Bloody Monastery, but it's not too bad.
Yeah. I've generally found it takes like 1 hour, a little less to do the 2 easy ones, and then 2 to sometimes like 2.5 hours to do the third one. Nagas is the only exception in which there's only 1 easy one to do, and then 2 longer ones.
Jesus. Yeah, at least with Bloody, you get the bell, which gives you all the weak minions to kill. So that's nice. Really makes it easy on the count.
All right.
But
So
yeah, for all 10 of us that are like full Black Star, that's a nice change,
It's awesome.
mhm. All right. We got to talk about it.
Okay.
Now, Rez, you know, forever. Like I try to be as positive as I can to outweigh.
Oh yeah,
just-
you're the greatest White Knight Prolibus has ever employed.
right. And
Without even realizing it.
You're the North American Employee of the Month for the last like 2 years.
hell yeah. So no, I have to sit here and try to deflect Nayashe's whining about desync and balance and evasion, and I have to sit here and deflect Rezlar saying that everything Prolibus is doing is because they have some ulterior motive to get you to buy reroll coupons or buy costumes
Which it
or
is.
swap. And this new bounty system, try as I might, I cannot defend this thing, Rezlar. I tried. I searched every nook and cranny of this for some errors. I was like, dude, there's got to be something good in here.
Here's the hilarious thing. You tried to like argue with me essentially based off of a misunderstanding. Where you were like, yeah, I'll take it. I think this is good. And I was like, how in what fucking world is this good? And then you realized what it actually is, and you came back like an hour later and was like, okay, I have changed my mind. This is not good at all.
Look, on paper, while it's still not great, and my position was still wrong either way, but on paper, I thought, okay, if this is replacing the karma system, I hate our karma system, and this is at least more interesting. But this is as well as our karma system, which is, I think, the most insane thing ever. So let me get through the details of this, because it's a little bit
this
long,
is gonna be juicy.
and there's kind of a lot. So I want to read their blue text, even though I know there's a lot of translation errors, because it's their sum up of what they're trying to do here. So they say, if you want to become a hero of the small citizens who realize justice and protect peace, and if you have a target who wants to take revenge on the risk of everything, please find the Old Moon Guild. The wanted system in Black Desert has been updated. The Old Moon Guild is recruiting adventurers full of justice as sheriffs. Anyone can become a sheriff as long as he proves his powerlessness with a few simple but not simple quests, which is a hilarious way of putting it. That translation makes it sound super funny. The sheriff may get reports of bad guys and wanted guys, which will be explained in more detail later, and by overpowering them, you can earn prestige. The acquired reputation is reflected in the sheriff rankings operated by the season system, and at the end of the season, you will receive coin items that can be exchanged for special rewards in proportion to the ranking. The special reward, I think, will be a nice sheriff costume for the Apostle of Justice. So you're going to be wearing a sheriff hat.
Dude, hell yeah.
And a sheriff outfit, which...
Don't they already have that with the Pilafay costume?
Oh, this is going to be more sheriffy, okay? And...
more sheriffy. You actually have a badge.
Yeah, this costume is basically going to be like a mark to let everyone know that you support griefers.
The Pilafay outfit literally has a badge. Like, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, this one comes with a pull-out wallet where you can show your badge from inside the wallet.
The Pilafay outfit, if I'm not mistaken, has a badge and boot spurs on the back. It is literally the stereotypical like Western cowboy sheriff guy.
Unbelievable.
So everyone who does really good as a sheriff is gonna get a free Pilafay outfit, essentially.
Okay, so it says the sheriff may get reports of bad guys wanting to. Oh yeah, sorry. And from now on, if you inflict harm to other adventurers with a forced attack activated by a button, in addition to the propensity, which I believe is a mistranslation for karma, a number called infamy increases. Infamy values are applied in a form that reflects the equipment level of the attacking adventurer and the attacked adventurer. Infamy works independently of disposition. Again, I think another bad translation for karma.
Yeah, karma.
So if the karma is restored to positive, the infamy is not reset. So if you're negative karma and you gain karma or whatever, your karma going up does not affect your infamy. They're two entirely different different things.
You're
Adventures,
always wanted, no matter what.
Because
You're
you know
always-
that works super good for naval karma. I know all the sailors are really glad about how that system turned out.
adventurers who have become infamous are classified as wicked. The wicked who are killed by the sheriff, described later, are transferred to prison and they return to their original location when they succeed in jailbreaking and fill the allotted labor, such as an outlaw transferred from the desert. Infamy figures have no means of recovery other than death to the sheriff or paying a large ransom to the Old Moon Guild. The wicked will not be able to determine how much of the infamy he has left, and this will be very inefficient as the infamy decreases randomly regardless of the ransom paid. Adventurers who have become wicked by forcibly harassing players will now have to watch out for their surroundings and fear the sheriffs in pile-a-fay outfits, I added that, who will not know when. Any adventurer can at any time inform the sheriffs of the location of the wicked and wanted villains around them through the report menu. When an evil person is reported, a notification message is displayed to the sheriffs of the server, and the reported location can be checked on the world map. And then the last paragraph, and adventurers, you can always apply for a bounty through the Old Moon Guild, targeting the adventurer who killed them. Adventurers who have become wanted are marked with a highlighted icon when reporting a villain. There is no upper limit on the amount to be paid for a bounty wanted, and you can request treatment up to 5 times. When the request is completed, all the bounties are reported by the Old Moon Guild, and the killed sheriff is given a reputation value in proportion to the bounty. So they break down.
What the fuck did I hear? That sounds fucking awful.
They break down the 3 things. There's the wicked section, the bounty section, the sheriff section, and then lastly the declaration a declaration thing at the end. So it says bounties. Adventurers who have been killed by a wicked player can request Old Moon Guild to place a bounty. An adventurer who has died by a wicked person can check the record window. You can see who has killed you, and you can request to place a bounty through the record window at any time, regardless of the current target's infamy value. So if you're killed at all, you can pop that bounty on them right away. When you request a bounty, the target will disappear from the record window. There's no upper limit on how many bounties can be targeted by, and you can request bounties up to 5 times. The number of bounties decreases when you are killed by a sheriff. Even if a villain's infamy reaches 0, if the number of bounties remains, he may be tracked and hit by the sheriff until the number of bounties disappears. So if somehow your infamy drops to 0, but there were
You're
5
still
bounties
killable.
placed on you, sheriffs can still hunt you down. The sheriff can obtain an additional reputation in proportion to the amount of bounties on the target when the target is defeated, and all bounties used in the quest will be taken by the Old Moon Guild. So if you have a bounty put on you, there is nothing positive about it whatsoever. It's just negative. Like, basically, just all bad. It's just, life's going to be rough. As a sheriff, if you complete certain quests, you can act as a sheriff. The sheriff can obtain reputation when defeating the wicked and can obtain an additional reputation in proportion to the amount of bounties on the target. However, you can acquire reputation only once per day from the same evil person. Reputation is applied for each character. When the sheriff kills a wicked or wanted player, a message is exposed on the server, and there are seasons for sheriff content. Prestigious rankings are introduced for each season. Medals are paid differently according to those rankings. And then lastly, declaration. A specific icon is added to the text or next to the name of the wicked, so anyone can identify them in the open world. General players can report wicked players through the Find Nearby Wicked Players system. So the thing is about this system is it actually is very similar to the bounty systems they use in other games, except they're missing one major detail. Well,
We have the karma system.
two
so-
things. The karma system is 1. 2, the bounty system in other games rewards the person killing people.
True.
There's usually some sort of
Yeah.
prestige for killing people and benefits and rewards for that.
Like an honor system or something.
Exactly. But this is just straight up you
You get
get
fucked.
punished if you kill anybody at all. So
But you shouldn't get rewarded.
You kill
for killing
someone, you
people,
get bent
Frosty.
over by the system.
This isn't a
what happens.
PvP game, Frosty. You should just leave people alone. Why do you have to be an asshole and go kill people, man?
I've been saying it for a long time. The devs are fucking Care Bears.
Well, they're catering to a Care Bear audience. Look, I brought this up again. I brought this up before. I'm not gonna bring it up again. But the population of this game has slowly gotten more and more Care Bear over the years, and it's just reflecting that. I mean, it's just how it is. More and more people are just absolutely offended and appalled that you can even flag up in the first place. It's fucking weird. It's insane.
Offended and
It's
appalled when you
it's
come up to ask duel to spot.
yeah,
It's like
it's
confused, like
fucking
what?
it's strange. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I like and the
I
thing is I don't know if there's any way to fix it, especially if the devs keep fucking pandering to these people. I mean, it's
Well,
like
the way to fix it is you slowly root them out by making the PvP enjoyable and fun, and you bring in a larger
they're
community.
not. But they're
Yeah, I know,
not.
I know.
here's
That's
the
my
thing
point, is
though.
that the devs are pandering to these Care Bears, and so
Yeah,
what can you do about it?
I actually don't think this has anything to do with our server and our, as you call them, Care Bears on our server. I think that this is a major disconnect from KR to NA, where our community is totally different. I was actually talking with like Enlave and Laffy today about this, and how EU is, well, they described EU as a little bit less PvP centric, and NA seems to be more like emotional about PvP, as far as like when they PvP they get mad easier, when they PvP they're like more into it, or they like to like,
Well, we're an
shit-
angry people.
they like to shit talk and stuff like this. So it's like totally different cultures, and those two are like closer together
Really
than
funny.
us and KR. This might be like something all of the people in KR wanted. This is not anything at all what like we were asking for. That I can see. Now, I obviously there are people for sure that are like, I saw it even on Reddit, in some of the discords, like people are like, oh, this is so awesome, I'm not going to get griefed anymore. But for most people, this like just through and through promotes griefing, because now we have all three, or we will have all three systems in place. We'll have the karma system, which benefits people that actually try to make your gameplay miserable, karma bombers. We have the sheriff and bounty system, which means if you even kill somebody at all, regardless of karma, you're just going to be hunted down and targeted on the map by other players, of no benefit. And when you die, you get sent to a jail that you have to work your way to get out of. And then 3, if you want to avoid the karma system and the sheriff system altogether, either A, you're going to run into guilds that are undeckable, which is super incredibly common, and B, you're going to have to pay 3% tax per day. So your guild gets screwed. It's like all of it is just like, I'm just like, okay, why have these 3 complex systems when you could just remove the flag option from the game entirely?
Yeah, exactly. And that, I swear to God, I am not like, I'm not trying to be fucking Alex Jones here, although that is literally what I get paid to do. But like, it honest to God feels like that's fucking the direction we're going in, man. It's like, what's the fucking point? I don't understand. What
And
even
then
is the point
yeah.
of being able to PvP in open world when you keep doing things like this? You keep decentivizing open world PvP. Like, there's just, I don't understand why it's even an option at this point when you keep doing this over and over and over.
Yeah, I agree. And then you have games like Elion that's supposedly coming out later in the fourth quarter or something like that. That seemed like their open world PvP was very promoted. Like, so people that love to do that kind of stuff are gonna opt to go to a game like that.
So I don't know, like, and here's the thing, Frosty, you might be correct about the whole like our culture is just so different from KR, and so maybe they want this in KR. But I would like to point out that almost every single time someone says, "Oh no, you see, it's different in KR. That's why they did X," they're wrong. So
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. It's entirely possible, but the odds are not in your favor.
I
That's
mean,
all I'm gonna point out.
their culture is different for sure. And I don't know. It's just like,
But people say that all the time, man. It's like, oh no, Sork isn't as powerful on KR because of desync
Yeah,
or ping.
I
Oh no, they don't think Witch and Wizard is a problem in KR, and that's why it doesn't get nerfed. Like every time someone says, "Oh no, because it's different in KR," that's why. It's almost never the case.
I love where
So
you said your comment where Enlife said he doesn't believe he thinks NA is more emotional about PvP than EU.
I mean,
I
it would
know
not
some EU
surprise
players
me,
to be
honestly.
extremely toxic.
well, no one's using absolutes, Nayashe. Obviously, there's
Eh.
toxic players everywhere. But so
That would
Rez,
not surprise me if
are
it
you
was.
saying that KR also? So are you saying KR also didn't want this and they're getting it? Because if that's the case, then it's not catering to quote unquote Care Bears. They're just literally not listening to the community. Because like in your day to day, I mean, I don't know how much BDO you're playing, but are you running into people that
Since
are
I got a job, not much.
are you running into people on average in your guild and with guilds you're fighting that are really upset that you can flag or be flagged
No,
on?
but that's the thing is it's this whole thing about the fucking
It's
you
never
have
the
the
flagging.
silent majority versus the extremely loud minority. You see this everywhere. You see it in real life, you see it in video games. You have all of these people, and I have experienced these people in my game before. People that I have killed in the open world, and they literally say that they're going to report me for flagging on them. These people exist, and
Now
those are
there
the
Yeah.
people that are going to talk to Pearl Abyss and be like, well, why is it like this? This is stupid. These are the people that go onto forums and are like, why can I just be killed at any point in time? It's so stupid. I don't understand. Like it's this whole thing of the silent majority, which is like, yeah, you can flag, it's fine, who cares, so what? Versus the very loud minority that just fucking bitches and whines 24/7 so that they don't actually have to fucking like fight for anything. There's no conflict. They just want this to be fucking Teletubbies the video game where they can just go and fucking farm and trade on a wagon and go grind man swamps for 15 hours a day and never have to run into a single person. It's fucking infuriating.
The thing is though is like if you look at the feedback on this, it is almost completely negative.
Yeah, because they went too far. Like once so the thing about the silent majority is that once you push too far, they go, "Hey, wait, hold on a second. Now you're starting to do shit that's like fucking crazy." And they start pushing back. And I think that's what you have here is that you so instead of the redditors like complaining about, "Oh, why am I just being PK'd? Why is there?" I've seen literal threads in Reddit just like a month ago of people saying, "Why is there open world PvP in this game? I don't want to PvP. Can I not PvP?" And people were like, "Yeah, just stay level 49, my guy." It's like I don't know. It's I'm just saying that you have these people complaining to Pearl Abyss every single day, and there's not a lot of them. And I'm not trying to argue that there's a lot of them. What I'm saying is that they're fucking loud. They're sending reports to Pearl Abyss complaining about like PKers and the karma system, saying it's not strict enough. They're going on to forums and posting on forums about how they were grinding at a spot, someone came up and then killed them. When in actuality, what happened is they dueled for spot and the dude fucking lost. Like these people are the ones that are communicating the most, and so Pearl Abyss is like, oh, okay, I guess they don't want this. Then let's try and make them happy.
Really
And
unfortunate
there's
too
more and
because
more of them, and they're getting louder and louder.
you watch the devs waste their time developing these systems that are not liked at all.
I don't know. Like it's definitely not a majority, but like I don't know. It feels like there's more of them, and it feels like they're louder. And it feels like it changed. Like every year, there's more of them, and they're louder. There's more of them, and they're louder. There's more of them, and they're louder. Like I remember when the game first came out, because I'm a fucking BDO boomer. Like the open world PvP was part of the draw to the game. It was like, yeah,
Mhm.
dude, you can like kill people in open world. Like someone's like just running around, and you can like try to kill them. It's like, holy shit, dude, that's fucking cool.
Yeah,
And
when
now
people research the game to look it up montages of people getting murdered at Sawsons back in the day.
yeah, and then now it's I mean, this literally happened a year ago. I am not kidding. I got told that I was going to be reported for killing someone.
I've
Like,
had someone tell me that before too in the past.
yeah, I think a lot of people have. It's like, dude, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being like boomer Reslar right now, like old times good, new times bad, but man, uh the open world PvP department, I it has just gone down the shitter since launch. I don't know if there's been a single change to open world PvP that has like made it better since the game launched, honestly. I know like the downgrading gear was like super unpopular, and I can understand why. I personally didn't have any strong feelings about it, but that might be like the only change where you can be like, yeah, that was probably better that they stopped that from happening. But that doesn't even really encourage PvP, I guess. Like, I don't know, I guess it kind of does, but I don't know. It's fucking, it's whatever, man. It's a shit fucking system. Like, if it replaced the karma system, I think it'd be okay. Like, and that's basically the confusion that me and you were having in DMs, is you thought it was replacing the karma system. So you were like, dude, I'll take it. Anything is better than the karma system we have now. And then I'm sitting there confused as fuck, like, what do you mean? This is just a straight buff to griefers.
I think even if it did replace the karma system, that fact that even if you quote unquote, in this case, you don't have the karma, but in Frosty's scenario, he said even if you got your karma up, you still have this infamy, or what was it?
Infamy. Yeah.
Infamy. That you just basically can't get rid of unless you pay some random amount of money towards the old moon.
Dude, it's a lot. Listen to this. You can reduce your infamy by paying 30 million silver coins to the Old Moon Guild NPC.
And it's random.
But it's
However,
random.
the number to be recovered is random, so you might have
Yeah,
to do
like
it
what the
multiple
actual
times.
fuck is that? So if
Same
someone
when you're
griefs
killed by a
me and I
sheriff.
flag up and kill him, I'm going to get infamy, and then
Instantly.
they're gonna
Yep.
and then they're going to essentially report my ass, just like how Rezlar was complaining about
Yeah,
people.
now
saying
they
on
actually
the
are
report.
reporting you.
So now they are reporting
Yeah,
you.
now they are reporting, and you're gonna have
And-
someone like you're gonna have fucking Choice or Divio show up to your spawn,
Yeah.
just
Choice
trying to
is
farm
Choice is gonna
points.
get his fucking.
And it's
his
just
sheriff's
like,
outfit.
it's cool, I didn't want to do anything anyways. It's fine.
Yeah, but and then
It's such a fucking bad system.
yeah, so you're gonna get grief. You're gonna kill them because they're griefing you, and then you're gonna get punished for it. And not only that, you depend on a sheriff to kill you to get rid of
Can
it.
we
And
question? Can we all agree that like this wouldn't be nearly as big of a problem if the status of an undeckable guild did not exist?
Well, yeah, except that it's still going to charge our guild 3% of their silver per day. To have
True.
someone
I
decked.
mean, there's another perfect example of like you're just trying to fuck over people that enjoy open world PvP for no reason whatsoever. Like,
all
and
this is really gonna promote for people is to overload the Archer server because they just don't want to deal with the system.
I don't.
At this point, just give us more Arsha servers, man. Just give
Dude,
us like
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Dude,
Remove PvP option, the flag up option on half the
Listen,
servers, make the other half
listen,
Archer servers. Be
listen,
done with it.
listen. Add more Arsha servers and put PvE servers in.
Yeah,
Like, stop
just
with
take away
all
the
this
flag up
bullshit.
option.
Just fucking stop trying to make PvP, open world PvP, not a thing. Because some of us actually enjoy it. Add more Arsha channels. There should be, I mean, at least minimum like 5 Arsha channels. Add a minimum like 5 no PvP channels. Only PvE allowed on these channels. So that all the people that don't like PvP can go on those channels and they can grind there and trade there and do all that stuff there. Not even guild decks allowed there. No PvP whatsoever. Zero. Zip. Nada. None. And then you make open world PvP like actually viable on normal channels. You get rid of this stupid fucking guild fund bullshit change that you're trying to push through. You stop with this fucking dog shit sheriff system. You get rid of the status of undeckable guilds. Like, actually let people PvP in open world, because now all those people that you're trying to protect, they have a place they can go to. There's no need for you to protect them anymore. They have a place they can go to.
I'm just gonna point out not everyone has the PLFA outfit, so I mean I wouldn't mind if
Yeah.
they kept the.
Hold on,
Yeah,
I want
get
to
that.
clarify something. When I say they should have more Arsha channels, I don't mean with the drop rate buff. I think there should only be one channel with the drop rate buff. The other should have
Correct.
no additional drop, just that you don't lose karma upon killing people.
Yeah. So basically, like if you look at how the servers are right now, they have the combat symbol next to the Balanos 1, Media 1, all the channels for the Node War channels.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Yeah.
something similar, but for half of the servers or half the channels available, and and just remove PvP entirely from the other half, and that would be fine. I think you would literally solve all the problems right there. Like, leave the flag up system, remove the karma system from those PvP servers, and remove the option to flag up or do any guild decks or anything like Rizzler said on those PvE servers. That's fine. I
Yes.
think that's fair.
Like I don't understand.
That would be so easy for them to implement and deploy.
If your whole
comparison to
thing
this-
is trying to protect people who don't want to PvP, then just give them their own fucking channel. I do not understand. Give them their own set of channels, like the seasonal channels where there was no PvP allowed, except for there you could still guild deck. I think you shouldn't have any PvP on the PvE channels. 0. Because that's what those people want. They want no
Yeah.
PvP.
I mean, there's other forms of griefing that you can do for those individuals that are like that.
They like
you could
that,
just-
But
though.
but that's they don't care about that.
Yeah,
They're
into
not
that.
offended. They're into it. I saw posts on Reddit, and I'm sorry I keep going back to Reddit, but it's a fucking degenerate pit. Yeah, I saw posts on Reddit this last season where people were like, I actually enjoy that there's no PvP, that everybody just kind of runs around randomly around each other and grinds around each other.
They grind together,
And
you
I've-
mean?
Yeah. They grind together, but
They
not in the
grind
party.
together.
And I was like, dude, that's great, and I'm glad you enjoy that, and that's why you should have your own channel. But that's not what's happening. That's not what these changes are doing. What these changes are doing is it's forcing everyone else to fucking play like that, regardless of if they want to or not. And it's fucking awful. It sucks.
Yep. It's
I
pretty silly.
imagine if there was a world where like they removed the karma system and this system was put in place and the jail was not that bad to get out of, like being able to
it
just
would be fine.
it would be fun. Dude, but I think the only thing we have left to do, the only thing we can do to defend ourselves, I think we have
There's
to
war deck.
I think you have to feed players and sheriffs to mobs. I think you have to kill a
No,
player. They
here's
report
what-
someone, and then
No,
you
hold
feed
on.
the sheriffs to mobs. It's the only thing
Here's
to
what
deter
here's
sheriffs.
what needs to happen. There needs to be an elephant in the room part 2, the karma system, because apparently the only way we can make some fucking change as players is if we have Frosty write up a fucking 2-page fucking explanation on why what PA is doing is bad, and then we all push the shit out of it on fucking Reddit and guild discords and everything.
I can't.
You
Okay.
know,
The next elephant in the room is resist.
yeah, I was gonna say Frosty's
Okay,
got
we're
a
all
different
tied up.
kind of
Dude.
list of
I got too
followers.
many projects on my hands, dude.
Like I just don't I don't
Well,
understand.
Frosty, they actually are kind of preemptively dealing with that new offhand crystal.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
solves
yeah,
everything.
That
Solves
solves everything, dude. It's just it's fucking I mean it's funny and sad because it literally, like, I feel like that is a perfect example. These two changes are the exact same thing. It's it's hey, let's try to solve this like really like complex issue with this other really like complex and stupid thing. Like I don't instead of just like actually addressing the issue. I don't know. It's fucking silly.
Not to
I
go,
don't
not
know.
to jump off topic, but did we ever get Jackie Felix's response to that nerf, the Succ Wizard?
He put up a video, dude.
Did he?
Yeah, dude. Here's a funny thing about this system. If I flag and you flag and we attack each other,
Why does the one person still lose
Whoever-
karma?
well, not only that, but whoever hits the other first loses karma and becomes wicked. Now, which is hilarious. If we both flag, which is basically like a
You're
mutual
saying fair
agreement
game.
to PvP, if I hit you first, I can have a sheriff put on me and lose karma. That's actually
Yeah.
hilarious.
I just don't like I don't understand why they don't just add season channels as a permanent thing for like people that don't want to PvP and then stop making it harder to PvP. If
Yeah.
the whole goal of all of this is to protect people who don't want to PvP, which is an admirable goal that I can 100% understand,
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
just give them their own fucking channels.
Dude, I just thought about a really cool. Like, here are my three. If we get all these systems, here are my three options. A, I lose my crystals and get my gear downgraded because I killed you too much. B, I keep getting sent to jail. Or C, I run I fucking run my guild out of town by running them dry, completely broke of guild funds.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, why are those the options?
Yeah, they're not really using their heads on this. They're just throwing shit out there, seeing what sticks.
Oh well.
I'm
Really
not-
fucking unfortunate.
I don't know. It's fucking.
I think they're gonna
Whatever.
get a lot of now the only thing is like maybe there's something in here that they forgot to tell us, you know? Something actually that makes sense out of this.
Oh, they're gonna come back with an edit later. Oh yeah, we forgot to say the karma system's being removed.
Yeah, they forgot to
No,
add the
because
section.
they talk about the karma system in it.
I know.
Here,
That's what I'm
here-
saying. They're gonna come back
here-
later, like after all the feedback, and be like, "Oh yeah, we forgot to say that karma system's
Here's
removed."
the only possible thing I could see where this change would go from absolute dog shit to just kind of weird, confusing, and not making any sense. Because they say that they're keeping like they talk about karma in there, right?
Mhm.
The only thing I could see is if they capped karma loss at like some very instead of being like -3 mil, it's at some like really like minute amount essentially. Like a fucking like 100K or 300K because that's what positive goes to.
Could you
I don't know.
imagine?
You know
even-
what's
if
sad
this-
Even
too?
that
This still affect like this system is also affected by your gear, which means that poor players that are just coming fresh off of seasons and they get griefed in their grind spot by someone who's 680 or 690 gear score that takes off their gear and makes them go negative. Because that's what this promotes, again, just more taking off your gear. Like, that's the thing that sucks is like all of these systems promote karma bombing, taking off your gear, like just grinding over people until they flag on you. Like, it's hilarious. There's like no, it actually doesn't help people that are being griefed. It only helps the griefers.
but that's you're having a fundamental like misunderstanding though is the thing. And this is an issue that we've talked about before on the podcast. There is a fundamental like misunderstanding from the company and from a lot of the people who play this game that if you are flagging up, you are the bad guy. If you are flagging up, you are the aggressor. If you are flagging up, you are the villain, and thus you need to be punished. That's why there is zero benefit whatsoever to flagging up and killing people in this game. You mentioned, like with other bounty systems in other games, there is a benefit to being like a villain. There's
Yeah.
some reward to it. There's some prestige to it. There's something. There's no such thing in this game. Because in this game, if you are flagging up, you are the bad guy. It's automatically assigned to you, regardless of the situation, regardless of the context, regardless of what the other person is doing or has done. If you're flagging up, it's your fault, your mistake, you're the bad guy, and you need to be punished.
Hold on, Brain Powered reminds us if there is a reward, you get to visit the PvP town without being killed by guards out in the desert.
In before
Yeah.
they come out next patch and go, we've added a infamy outfit for players that want to be infamous. And it's just another one of the like shittier outfits in the game.
It's
for all
a
the classes.
ghillie. It's a ghillie that prevents the flares from working.
It's fucking it's so unbearably stupid. And I I feel like I've said this a lot recently, and I feel like I'm able to talk a lot of shit this week because I didn't talk hardly any shit last week. Because last week was good and this week is bad, and all things are balanced as all things should be. Thanos is proud. Man, the devs do not play this fucking game. Like they just don't. You can't tell me the devs play this fucking game when they do shit like this. I mean, I just don't see how if you play this game, if you're in a guild and you participate in like the
I think
content
you're
within your own game,
I think
I
you're
don't see how you can
missing.
do this.
I think you're wrong, Rizzo. I think they do play this game, but they're so shit at PvP they keep dying, getting fed the mobs.
Dude, I
They
just
need this
don't.
system in order to actually test this game because they get griefed in their own global lab server.
You know what's really sad to think about? That they didn't even put the worst part in here. They didn't even note the worst part about this is when the sheriff shows up, probably to even defend yourself against the sheriff, you're going to
You
have
have
to
to flag
flag
up.
and lose
Yep.
more infamy
Yep.
Yo.
Yep.
and karma.
Which means, guess what? That sheriff probably gonna put a bounty on you.
Oh yeah. If you when a sheriff puts a bounty on you too. Oh man, that's awkward.
So if you do manage to somehow miraculously kill Choice because he was literally playing with his feet blindfolded, guess what? Now he's calling Divios.
Oh, yeah. Well, luckily you won't be able to call individual people and it's randomized. That part is random. You just literally take bounty requests and then it tells you what it is. But sheriffs will see just red people on the map, I guess. I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the
other
other
thing
thing. You're going to be pointed out to everyone.
Dude, the thing that's crazy
know what
is
it should-
you can be
you
killed in
know-
town too.
Hold on. You know what it should be? Here's what it should be. If you are infamous, you don't lose karma for killing people.
Yeah. Exactly. If you go infamous, you stop losing karma. That would be interesting. That way you're like literally a bandit. And they should give me a Hamburglar outfit from a vendor if I have enough bandit points.
Hamburglar.
Yeah, I want a little Hamburglar outfit. I think that'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
You know what
Let's
the
embrace
actual
it.
fix to this system is? Don't fucking implement it. That's what the actual fix is. I
Yeah,
changed my mind.
that is
Scrap
definitely the
scrap
correct
that
approach.
last idea I had. The actual fix to the system that would make it good is don't fucking implement it.
Dude, I hope they have a bug where if you grab someone, the person that you're killing at a grind spot, let's say you're at Star's End, you kill them, they call a sheriff, the sheriff comes. If you grab them and the sheriff kills you while they're in your grab, you take them with you to jail.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
But
Or
here's
here's
the
the other thing. What if they have a bug where basically in a guild war, you actually end up getting infamy? That would be pretty awful.
Go fucking brainstorm with me here for a second, okay? I had a bit of a stroke there for a second. What if they really are dedicated to implementing this fucking system, right?
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can make it decent?
Yeah, remove karma entirely.
But is that still? I don't know.
That's the only way that this system gets implemented.
Yeah,
where there's,
remove
like,
karma, make it fun, and have it like be like, yeah, you're a bandit on the map and you can go to jail and there's consequences. But if you kill people, there you also have a leaderboard and rankings and stuff, and you can be like prestigious in your own way, in like the wicked way. Or like it doesn't even have to be like
if
silver
you're
game.
max infamy and in the top 10 fucking villains or whatever, you get a 5% drop rate buff.
Yeah, I mean, you can have like if you can have basically like if you're wicked, people can kill you and they don't lose infamy because you're wicked. And then like you basically would have to defend yourself in a spot. But the whole like sending you to jail, I don't know. I don't know. It's too hard. I mean, they're never going to remove the karma system. I don't really understand why, but they're never going to remove the karma system, so it's like it just completely defeats the purpose of even having this whole system. Like, I think it'd be fun to go infamous regardless of karma if there was no karma. And, like, now I'm grinding in this spot and I have a chance, like, I got to defend myself against sheriffs. I think would be kind of a fun thing to do. And, like, I don't know, maybe the more sheriffs you kill, the more rewards you get. Not necessarily the just flagging and killing someone, but killing sheriffs gives you rewards.
What if the benefit of being... Because, like you said, they're not going to remove the karma system, unfortunately. They have this really weird attachment to it. What if the reward for being infamous was that you lose no karma, and that, like, whenever you flag up and kill somebody, you lose that initial bit of karma, and then I'm assuming there's a time period for which people can put a bounty on you, right? I would assume.
It doesn't appear
Yeah,
to
the
be based
moment
on
you
the
look at them
text.
wrong.
Well, no, like, if someone kills me, can I then, like, a week later, like, put a bounty on them?
Probably
I'm assuming
not.
there's a window that you have to do it in, right? And if there's
Maybe.
Probably.
not, if there's not, then there should be. So what if, like, during that window, let's say, like,
You
I don't know,
keep
like
killing them until
15
they
minutes.
can't. They can't
No, no, no,
just.
no, 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 no. Well, yes, but like in that 15-minute window where they can place a bounty on you, you do not lose karma for like killing that person.
That would be fairer, at
Or like
least.
killing anybody. You have like no, because now you're infamous, now you can have a bounty placed on you. Like for the next 15 minutes, you just don't lose karma for PvPing, essentially.
So basically, you know how when you flag up and you hit someone for the first time, you lose like what 2 to 5K karma or something like that. So instead of
Yeah, you
that,
lose
this would kind
however
of be like
you
if you
lose
kill
however
them,
much you lose because they took off their gear so that you would
but no
lose
matter
X
how many
amount of
times you
karma.
hit them. But in this case, you're saying in respect to no matter how many people
Yeah,
you kill in this window.
so in this weird kind of roundabout way, it's almost like, yeah, you're gonna kill someone and they're gonna be able to put a bounty on you, but then you can kill whoever walks in that spot for the next 15 minutes, and all you have to deal with is the sheriff, essentially, right?
That would be fair.
I mean, I'm trying to, because I have a feeling that this is gonna get implemented, and they're not gonna do anything with the karma system. So I'm trying to work around the parameters that I think they're gonna have.
I think that would be fair because there's no reason for you to continuously lose karma if you're going to be attackable
I like
to a sheriff.
Alpha Team pointed out. I like the idea of that. There's no limit. So like you literally, you're playing Elion for 6 months. You come back to the game like, oh yeah, I got to submit these 7 bounties. I forgot. Just all of a sudden be like, hey, why do I have a sheriff on me? What the hell?
I don't know.
That would actually be
I
pretty
just
funny.
I don't know. Who knows? There might be, as with always like these things, right? There could be something that we're missing, something they haven't said, something that's being
I mean,
mistranslated. But
this is
as we're understanding the system right now, this is like,
awful. Yeah.
it's awful. It's one of the worst things to ever happen to open world PvP,
I say
in all
you
honesty.
I say you get rid of the karma system, you make it so that when you kill someone you get honor, you add in an honor ranking system and you can cash in your honor for
Dude,
I don't know,
well,
something
they'll
like
never do the honor thing because
I know they won't, but I'm
It
just saying
promotes
like
killing
you could
people?
actually use this system
Yeah.
with an honor system. It'd be really good and fun.
but they could
And because it
do,
randomizes the sheriff, you can't like abuse it in a way where you and your friend are feeding each other.
but they could do honor on killing a sheriff, and then it wouldn't really be griefing because that sheriff voluntarily came out to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, like
Ye-
you wouldn't get rewarded for killing the person you killed to become infamous, but getting rewarded for killing the sheriff, I don't see what's wrong with that. If the sheriffs
And
are
that's
happy to
also,
come out and fight you.
I also feel like
I think if you kill the
like,
sheriff, you should get an extra amount of honor too, so it incentivizes it.
there has to be some level of like reward, right, for PvPing that's not like just like you griefing or exploiting, right? But like, I don't know, it's
I mean, I think the sheriff thing kind of works, especially since it's randomized.
Yeah, because it's randomized, it actually works out pretty good. That's what I was saying. Like, if you had an honor system attached to it, it wouldn't be abusable because they randomize it. I think that's a good approach. I just think the karma system makes this fucking god awful. So you remove the karma
Is it-
system, you add in an honor system, and then bam, this shit is actually fun. People will fucking jump right back to this game. It'd be
I
so
would
much open world PvP.
I would just like to point out, isn't it sad that we're probably putting more thought into how a functional system would
They
work
actually
without
did
being
for the
educated
implementation
than
of
the
this.
devs are?
Yeah, true.
Like, we're here trying to come up with a system that like can't be exploited, can't be abused, would be like fun and like reasonable for all players involved. Probably spending more time on it than the devs did, in all honesty.
I just don't
Mm.
understand how they can justify it. Like what is the thought process?
The system and the leaderboard thing just doesn't even make any sense because no one's going to want to kill anyone. So there's going to be like the whole server is a sheriff and no one wants to kill anyone.
Wait, what?
Also, can we talk about the byproduct of this? Man, Arsha is gonna get crowded.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said earlier. Like, I'm just not gonna deal with any event. I'm gonna go to Arsha instead. At least there I want to get punished for killing someone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. I hope it doesn't get implemented. Oddly, we didn't get the GVG system yet on our server.
I think they're probably still working that shit out.
Well, it's in KR.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got it. We did not. So that's kind of interesting.
Have they had it
Strange.
for? Is it going on the second week for them?
They got it the first week it came out, so now I think it's 3 weeks.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that, but
Crazy system.
all right, on a slightly more positive or not positive note, I was thinking about this. If they do PvE changes next week, do you guys think that I'm not going to leave my class out of this. Do you guys think that they're going to buff Tamer PvE, or are they going to be forgotten?
I think for hilarity's sake, they should forget them.
Why, dude? It sucks.
It really does.
Like-
But I know it's just too funny though. It's become.
I think they should change Tamer, but emphasis on the word change. Like it should just like not actually benefit the class in any way whatsoever.
It's
you
just
know?
like a flat change across the board. Rezlar's a special kind of toxic. I was
it's
just
like-
wanting to laugh at it.
It's like we changed your weight passive to be 10 mana per level.
Oh my god.
There you go.
That would actually be a nerf in that case.
Yeah.
I think they probably will because
Rezlar's
it
a
seems
special kind of evil.
it seems like
Someone's
they
gonna put fucking chairs
emphasized-
on your ass immediately.
It seems like they emphasized that they were going to change every class, at least that's what it seems like from the translation. So
They could
Um,
they could do one of these.
I can't wait for them to buff my New Year's Eve.
Well, they
so
could
I
do
can
one of
spam
these
it
cool
more.
changes like they did with Mewa, where it's like fix a bug where Prime Red Moon 1, 2, and 3 would not activate via Shift Q after the last hit of Prime Divider without having learned Ultimate Chaos.
Yeah, that
Red
was
Moon.
impressive. I read that and logged off my screen.
You logged off your screen.
Yeah.
Nayashe has a
well,
top-
I was
He has a top
was on my
security
phone.
monitor, so he has to log off of his
well,
monitor.
no, during that period
He
of
has
time,
to-
I was only
yeah.
on my phone.
No, she has to log into his monitor, then
Yeah.
log into his PC, then log into the folder that he keeps BDO in, then log into BDO. Then he actually has developed technology where he has to log into each character.
No, see, you missed the important thing. A two-step verification. That entire series of steps.
Oh Christ Almighty! Yeah, man, Google Authenticator, bro.
Oh yeah.
All right, staying.
But no,
Yeah.
that changes kind of like who finds that shit? Like honestly,
Dude, that's like the same thing. I swear to God, every single
the-
patch note.
the other one
Every
was that
single
was
patch note has like we fixed the we fixed the clipping on the left side of the skirt of Ranger's whatever
Yeah.
costume when seen in the daylight.
yeah,
it's
and they're like so
who
extremely
sees
specific on the
that?
details. But then when it comes to the actual fixes, they give you such vagary that you're like, so was it buffed? I'm confused. Was it buffed or not?
those
But yeah, they'll
those-
give you such extreme details on the outfits and whatnot.
I'll give you a hint. The people who find those bugs with the outfits and shit are the same people that report you for flagging on them.
Yeah, like the other change that was weird from the male's point of view was oh yeah, we fixed it so that level 1 through 4's Sticky Snowflake hotbar version of the skill would actually use the BSR now. It's like, who the fuck uses that skill on the hotbar?
Pros.
Like, oh my god.
So, Rezlar, if they do buff Zerker for PvE, if it
Nope.
were up to you, what would you improve on it?
I'm I thought you were gonna say, would you go back to it? The answer is no.
Oh, are you
I
not
would
playing Zerker
not.
right now?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't go grind on Awakening. You're out of your mind.
Oh. Right, okay. So
Uh,
Yeah, I see what
I
you
don't.
mean.
I don't know. See, the thing is like I really feel like I can't talk about what they should change on Awakening in terms of grinding because I haven't grinded on Awakening in like a year at least. Um, man, I don't know. I don't know what they get change. I don't know. Maybe just some more damage values on some of the filler damage. But I honestly feel like with the new skill, like I didn't really test it that extensively, but I know a lot of Zerkers who like have grinded quite a bit on Awakening, and they say with the new skill that Awakening Zerker actually feels pretty decent, like for grinding.
Hmm.
So I don't know, maybe just a little bit of extra damage on some of the filler skills, like blasting. I don't know. I
Awkward
really I can't speak too much, honestly.
Awkward Ninja who plays Zerker is saying Awakening Zerker is better already as far as I know. Is it better than
It
Succ?
might very well be. But the thing is you don't have to try in succession, which is why
Right.
everyone grinds in it.
See, for me, I don't mind trying. I just want it to be good
See, you
on
say
my
that
classes.
until you experience the glory of
Of
pressing one button
and then walking away to go refill your drink.
alt tabbing to like go pull up a fucking like a clip or something, and then you come back to your game and you're still spinning. You're like, I got another probably 3 seconds. Let me navigate this real quick. All right, start up the second spin. All right, so if you look in this clip here,
Nayashe, what would you change on Mewa if you could choose to buff its PV? Both specs, doesn't matter.
Well, New Year's Eve. I'm you know me. I'm not a big fan of that playstyle. I think it's so silly that you can just spam one button. I think they need to buff the PVE of the normal skill rotation, so you don't have to use that New Year's Eve stuff and get it. Make that a more viable um, way to play the kit in PVE. Get it back to its roots. Let it stay in Awakening fully, but use other skills besides New Year's Eve.
What
Then
ab-
for Succession, the biggest problem with Succession is when you get to a point, if you're in a particular area that you're grinding at, that you kill the packs too quickly while in red buff, you kind of get to the point where you're like in between packs, you're like awkward trying to get your red buff stack right as soon as it falls off when you get to the pack. So it's just like this awkward moment. So that particular pack you're kind of slow on. I don't know what they could really do with that besides lowering the duration of red buff or increasing the duration, but I don't know. Suck, I believe, still overall does better than Awakening slightly
Mhm.
in the majority of the areas, but I think Awakening does really, really well in some specific areas. I'd have to double check on that because it's been a little while since I've actually done some research on that. Because since all the buffs on Awakening, things have been slowly creeping closer and closer. So it's probably pretty damn close to being the same, if not, maybe even Awakening being better now than I'm thinking about it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. Just more damage to get us in line with strikers, I guess, if that's what they're going to plan to do. If not, then make us even out with the rest of the classes.
Yeah, dude, on Succ Kuno, I'm just like anything. We literally have not gotten touched. We've been so bad at grinding for so long and just nothing. Like
Yeah.
even in like, so Tamer, even though Tamer is as bad as Succ Kuno or arguably worse, I don't think I know it's close. They're competitive with how bad they are. But like
that's a
Succ
tough
Tamer,
game.
Succ Tamer at least has woken up one morning in the last 6 months and be like, oh shoot, they buffed our PvE, and then they go try it and then they're disappointed. Succ Kuno hasn't even gotten any PvE buffs since its inception.
Oh, Awakening did, right?
Awakening did.
Yeah, and then you got disappointed with that, right?
Yeah, so the new Awakening buffs, like they were helpful, but I feel like I don't know. There's a couple skills like Chain Crash leaves you locked in place, uses so much stamina, doesn't do enough damage. Halo uses stamina, literally does 0 damage, but we have to use it because it's like the DP debuff, and you can use it to use the new skill. It cancels into the new skill. And then like Sosprey Sonin just literally doesn't do any damage. Like I don't know why. It's like the filler like SL and B skill that like most classes have. Like that
Yeah.
alone, if that just had a slightly bigger AoE, it would be really nice. But I don't know.
You know what?
And do
I changed my
damage.
mind.
Yeah.
I know what I would do to fix.
Dude, I almost want
Or
Halo's our
to increase.
spacebar skill now. Actually, I almost want Halo to be like sticky or like New Year's Eve.
Yeah. All right. So I know what. So in that same spirit with the spacebar skill, I know what they could do. Fucking allow us to make jump a different key and not affect our skills. Please, God. Please, God. I hate it. I hate it so much. When spacebar is involved with a skill, I fucking hate it.
Yeah, lava piercer feels bad. Can I also change my answer?
Yeah.
Buff for bomb spin. I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
More spin.
There you go. You don't even have to make 2 changes. Just buff the damage of her bomb spin,
Mhm.
and both awakening and
we get it
succession will
equally.
be really happy.
Yeah. I don't mind that idea. That's kind of what I want. I think it would be a nice buff for both versions of Kuno is their ankle splitter skill, which is the third bomb that no one uses. It has a 22-second cooldown. Lower that to like 10 or 12 and make both the first hit and the second hit do the same damage as the second hit, and make the AoE of the second hit a little bit bigger so you can hit more mobs. And you can make that damage change only affect PvE. And then that skill would actually be like a legitimately good filler skill for both kits. I don't know.
That's actually a good point. My
Yeah.
Maywa's revamps are fucking garbage, even though they're intended for PvE in terms of their damage output. They're just fucking garbage.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope it's improved. I hope people can wake up in a couple weeks and be like, man, like the worst class is still getting like, I don't know. Like if you're at Succ, for example, like the worst class can still pull 6k or 6 point something, you know?
And then you just feel good about it rather than feeling like awful, like, oh, it's only like it's 1.5k lower than the best class or even average classes. Yeah. Hopefully they do something that helps with that.
That's really all we got. Did you guys watch or catch Rez, you said you were super busy. Did you Nayashe catch any of the tournament?
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it. Wasn't able to focus and sit down and watch long periods of it, but seen decent.
Should we give an update now that the finals are next week, right?
Yeah.
This is the semifinals. So should we do an update on like who we have that's still in it for our picks?
Yeah, who even has a chance point wise?
How do you want to do this? Oh wait, do I have that? Let me see if I have the actual document.
If you
he low key got rid of it because he realized he wasn't.
No, I got it. Okay. So,
he is probably gonna lose. That's the funny thing.
Oh yeah, it's not looking good for me.
It is not looking good.
All of my horses are out. So
well,
how should we do this?
The classes I didn't even know.
So here,
what would be the easiest? I have the document open. Should I just delete the people that are out? Would that be easiest?
Yeah.
And I can save it as 2. I'll keep this document, and then I'll save the one I've edited right here as like the who's left. So that way we can reference this still as.
I was gonna say just take a picture of it and then give it to me, and then I'll just like slap it in paint real quick, cross out the names. I'll have you read the brackets to me. I'll cross out the names and then like give it back to you.
All right, here.
He's gonna shift the names around in his favor. The ultimate master plan Wrestler has.
There's a semi-low res picture of it. I might be able to get you a better picture if you want.
It's fine. It starts with Maywa at the top.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you who's out?
No. Yeah, give me a second. I'm saving it.
All right, we could go through the list of who's out though. It'll be kind of fun.
Wrestler.
Okay. I also want to see if I can.
You never had a chance with the Maywa one.
I want to see if I remember.
I never had a chance, man. I never had a chance.
I warned you. I warned you. I did not think I was going to win.
You did warn me. You did, in fact, warn me. Okay, so open with.
But But
Where am I?
I mean,
Hello.
didn't I really win though? I mean, who here can say their name is said as many times?
That's true.
True. He's got a point. He's got a point. All right. I have it open. I'm gonna get the line tool. I'm gonna make it red. All right. So starting wherever you want to start. I'll
Meiwa,
find
top
it.
left, and we'll go left to right. All
Okay.
right.
Got it.
So Meiwa, Nayashe chose Vayne and not Coco. Vayne is out.
Okay.
Bastard didn't
I
even
chose
show
Vayne
up.
and not Coco. Vayne is out.
Okay. That's
You
good.
chose Nayashe and Shade. Both are out.
Rough.
Yeah. Striker, you can leave it. They're both in. They're in the finals.
We all made the same picks.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, there was only those like CPCPN just doesn't have the gear, unfortunately.
Tamer. Nayashe chose Balance and Memo. Balance is out.
What?
Yeah.
Balance loss?
He lost to Icy Mist.
Oh man.
I also chose Balance and Memo. Balance is out.
Yeah.
And you chose Cade Lucifer and Memo, and Cade Lucifer is out.
Yep.
All right, Nova. All out across the board. They're all gone.
I don't even know any of the
Everyone's
Novas
gone.
on there, so that's good.
none of us got that right. Berg and Stone's out. The finals are 2 succession Novas.
Wow.
Who did
Who
Berg
would have
lose
thunk
to?
that?
Berg lost to Toxic Blitz, and Toxic Blitz this week just lost
Ah.
to, I forget the name off the top of my head. Wait, let me see. I think I have it actually. Toxic Blitz lost to Magus Blade.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the finals is Succ versus Succ.
Well, that just goes to show that they probably couldn't combo the Succ because of those damn soldiers.
Yeah.
Was that pretty much the main issue?
That was a part of it, but he got caught too by the range thing. All right, you ready for a hash?
Yep.
All right, hash. Nayashe had Koyoza and TG Fool. TG Fool is in the finals. Koyoza is out.
Okay.
I had Koyoza and Mocha. Both are out.
Okay.
You had Koyoza and Fear. Both are out.
Okay.
I'm surprised Koyoza lost.
Yeah, he lost to Fear. Fear lost this week to Chase. Yeah, we all had Zerker. We all had Ming. He's out.
What?
Yeah, he lost to Rez the Wanderer, who played really well, by the way.
Because Rez the Wanderer.
I had Ming and Slavage. Slavage got obliterated 2 weeks ago, so Slavage is out. So Choice is the only one left. It's Choice versus Shuckle. Choice versus Shuckle. Let me know when you're ready for Guardian.
I'm ready.
All right. Vsoft versus and Vessel Vision is who Nayashe had. They're both out. Vsoft and Short Fuse, who I had. Short Fuse is in, but Vsoft is out. And you had Taco and Tubby McNuggets, who are both out.
Fucking name.
Yeah. Dude, we this is rough.
Ready?
All right. Witch. Nayashe had Belly and Blue Dream. Belly is out. Blue Dream's in the finals.
Woohoo!
I had Imperium and Blue Dream. Imperium is out. Blue Dream's in the finals. And Resler had Belly and Ghost Drags.
Who did
Both
Belly
out.
lose to?
Belly did not show up to his match. His internet wasn't working, he said that morning.
Oh,
Which sucks, yeah.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Sork. This one's simple. Let me know when you're ready.
Yep.
We're all out.
We're all out. All right. Bear
Yeah.
let us down. Good to know. Good
Bear
to know.
let us down. He tried to damage
Fucking
trade with someone that
Bear.
has more gear than him, knowing full well that he can't damage trade with someone that has more gear than him, and died standing up.
Jesus Christ, he doesn't even have a fucking.
Let me
spot
guess.
named
Were
after
people
him.
crying? Were people crying gear check in the Twitch chat?
Not as much for that one, but a lot of the time, yeah. Even when it did not apply, people cry
Yeah.
gear check regardless of. Dude, literally, like I saw multiple times people crying gear check on a player that actually had like that one that had less gear than the person they killed. It was hilarious.
Really? There was a couple of people in chat saying I got gear checked pretty hard, which fairly
No,
accurate.
you went into the shade and killed yourself.
Well, alright, hold on.
you
That-
discovered the Nayashe spot. That's what
that
happened.
was
You
one
went into the
round.
shade and killed yourself.
And no, he legitimately. There was no way. If I stayed there, I died anyways.
Okay. So Wizard. Nayashe had Jackie, Felix, and Lizard. They are both out.
What?
Mm-hmm. I had Technique
Such confidence
Wiz.
in Jackie.
I had Technique Wiz and Jackie. Technique is in the finals. Jackie is out. And Reslar had Jackie and Technique Wiz. Jackie is out, but Technique Wiz is in the finals.
Okay.
That's not looking good for me.
Nayashe got gear checked by the shade. Yeah. Shy.
Dude, that shade is OP. Do not fight it.
Shy. All of our guys are out. Everyone's gone.
Well,
I was
to be
surprised to hear that Apple Twinkle got killed,
fair. That name.
Yeah, he got deleted.
considering how much of a monster he was in the fucking matches that we did.
Yeah, he popped off in those. Ninja. Nayashe said CC my life and then Laven. Laven is out. I said Laven and CC. Laven is out. Reslar said Laven and Grass Beetle. They are both out.
My boy Laven.
The finals
feels
is
bad.
CC my life versus Arian. Or Arian. I don't know how to pronounce it. E-R-I.
You're not going to tell me who's in the finals of the Shy bracket?
The Shy is, what are the names? I forget the names off the top of my head, but it's a snake Shy named like Wutaru?
Utaru?
Yeah, Wutaru.
Yeah, I know who that is.
And who's that? What's the Shy on the other side? It's the Shy that beat Apple Twinkle, I think. People think Laven is good. Well, the Laven thing was going to be like an anime arc where everyone doubted him, and then he proved them all wrong, but he let me
Do
down.
hard work and effort.
Yeah. He was going to try harder than anyone else. I can't remember the name of the other Shy. Does anyone remember? I can pull up the bracket real quick to get the name of the other Shy.
Laven does pretty well though for how he plays.
They deserve
He-
credit for popping off. They beat Apple Twinkle. It is Kiri Tenshi versus Wutaru.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that guy.
Yeah, and Kiri Tenshi deleted Apple Twinkle.
Feels bad.
Really?
He made him V. It was the only Shy V, I think, in the tournament where they had to actually V to save their life, not V just to count down the end. All right, so after Ninja, DK. I actually had My Name is Q and J-Step. J-Step is out.
Fucking hell.
I had Multi-Melter and My Name is Q. They are both in the finals against each other. Reslar also had My Name is Q and Multi-Melter. They are in the finals against each other.
I should have had more confidence in Melty. I was just concerned about his desync.
Yeah, well, he's fighting against Q
I
in the
mean,
finals.
J-Step is
so
a good
you
pick,
still have a
though.
shot.
It's not like,
Well, Q's
it's
your
not
number
like
one.
J-Step is a bad pick.
Yeah, and you had Q-Step. You had My Name is
Q-Step.
You had My Name is Q.
Poor J-Step. He doesn't even get his proper name.
You had My Name is Q as your number one, dude. So he could still win the whole thing. Ranger. Nayashe had Flannels and Dremlock. Flannels is in the finals. Dremlock is out.
Really? Germlock. Damn.
I had Flannels and it's Jay, and I believe it's Jay did not show up to his match, and he is out. And Reslar had Dremlock and Flannels. Flannels in the finals. Dremlock is not. It's Flannels versus NF Icon in the finals.
NF Icon. Who the fuck is that?
NF Icon got there on Succession Ranger, just letting you know.
Wow.
Frosty's
They are
like,
probably fucking geared.
He had,
Frosty's like, it's Jay did not show up to his match, so he is now off my friends list.
let's see. Archer. Moors. Nayashe had Moors and Benz. Both are out.
What?
I had
Who beat Moors?
I had Moors and Castro. They were both out, and Resler had Moors and Castro, and they were both out.
Who beat Moors?
Moors lost to. I'm forgetting the guy's name off the top of my head. No, hold on.
NF icon is apparently 317 AP.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Moors lost to Zilm 2-0.
Zilm.
Yeah. And Nooser dominated Lorianil and also won 2-0. So it's going to be Nooser versus Zilm in the finals.
How is that?
It's
what is that name again?
Zilm. It's like Z. It says Z. It looks like ZIM, but it's a L.
Oh, okay.
Zim.
Jeez,
Zim.
thank God
Zim?
I didn't bet
I don't
money
know.
on
Maybe
this
it's
fucking-
Zim, but it's
Okay.
not. It's not Morse, is what it is.
The answer is not Morse.
The answer is not Morse. And then for our lawn, Nayashe had Dree and Meef, which is crazy because those are the two in the finals. Nice
Hell
work, Nayashe.
yeah!
I had Shin and Twizzy, both are out. Rez had Twizzy and Rez and Renz, both are out.
Finally. A little bit of
Twizzy
comeback
claps me in a no door and then makes me lose the fucking lawn bracket. I'm upset.
here.
Yeah.
He's griefing you in multiple ways.
I know, dude. That's what I'm saying. This man's out to get me.
Kuno, Nayashe had Key and 2 mines. Key is out.
Ooh, one's in.
Yeah, 2 mines is in the finals. I had 2 mines in Reezy. They are both in the finals.
Oh, damn it.
And Reslar had 2 mines in Vib. Vib is out. It is
2 mines
Reezy.
representing the Black Star boys.
Yeah, it's Reezy versus 2 mines in the finals. Yeah.
You know, I feel like I should get double points if 2 mines wins it. You know, for Black Star boys. You know,
No.
affinity bonus.
Black Star Boys. Oh,
Mhm.
You know what
my
I'm saying?
God.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really a Black Star user?
Dude, this one's rough for me. Valk. Nayashe had Paladin, Katya, and Modest. Paladin is in.
Hell yeah.
Modest
My
is
boy
out.
Paladin.
Modest is out. I had Raiden and Skywizzle. They're both out. And Reslar had Paladin and Raging Behemoth, and Paladin is in. Behemoth is out. It is going to be Larry Fish versus Paladin Katya in the finals.
The fuck is Larry Fish?
Larry Fish is a very talented Black Rose Succession Valkyrie. He rated me about 10 minutes ago, so I have to say that.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, he is very good. That's why he got there. He's very, very good. Mystic.
Yeah, a lot of these siege players I never interact with.
Mystic, we're all out.
We're all out. Okay, that makes it easy.
We're all completely out. If Nayashe, you don't remember, you chose Sammy and Tina and 4 Ryu. I chose Ryu and Sammy and Tina, and Resler chose Sammy and Tina and Damo.
You know, I had faith in Sammy, but to be expected from a filthy mystic. You know, you can't ever fucking trust them.
Yeah. The finals is going to be Karumi versus Exotic Babe. So I believe a Snake Mystic versus a Black Rose Mystic. Musa. Nayashe had Liquid and Quad, which is very good because they're both in the finals.
Fuck yeah, they are.
I had Quad and Carstels. Quad's in the finals. Carstels is out. Rezar had Liquid and the Musassin. the Musassin.
I was going for the Cinderella story, bro.
Yeah, you were, dude. Nayashe Vert is asking, how do you feel that you are forever immortalized in the arena?
I think I truly won this tournament. So.
Nayashe feels honored. Vert.
All right, hold on. Since both Vert and you, Frosty, are in the partners, I need you to do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Send this to the GMs and CMs so that they can request for me to get a special title for Nayashe's spot.
Right. For those who don't know what we're talking about, this is the link here. Let's watch this. This is a clip of here. I'll stream it for you guys on Discord.
You're literally gonna play it now. Oh
yeah, I think we should study this clip and see what went wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go. So this is Nayashe celebrating life in the Nayashe spot, preparing for his move the following weekend, knowing he's not going to be able to show up to the tournament. Here we go.
He's got to be careful not to leave his back up, but Nayashe actually goes for the blooming, and it's punished. Wow. Very, very risky blooming there.
Ooh, he's going to have to take some damage to get out of there or climb.
Yeah, he's in a bad spot here.
Yeah,
he's stuck between a rock and a hard place and dies to the circle, dude.
It's so funny every time.
Corner,
Look at the way he dives out there.
Bad spot here.
Yeah,
he's stuck between a rock.
I don't know why it kills me, dude. Every time I watch it, Nayashe just scooting twice out there to his death. Oh my god, dude.
Man, oh man.
Oh, it's rough, dude. It's rough.
Here's what I don't understand, Nayashe. Why didn't you just iframe the damage?
Yeah, dude. Forgot to use the iframe version
why
of
don't just iframe the damage?
All right. And last but not least, Warrior. Warrior, we got Sunny and Sphero for Nayashe. Sunny is in the finals. Sphero is out.
What? Man, my boy Sphero.
I trusted in my guildie, 6 Suns, and I had 6 Suns and Sunny. 6 Suns is out. And Reslar had Sphero and Goldsteinberg both out.
How did Goldstein lose? Just gear check?
I can't remember. He lost 2-1, I believe, and I can't remember how. And the Warrior bracket's not in here, so I can't confirm that. But I'm pretty sure he lost 2-1. I can't remember exactly what happened though. So Sorks are complained about all the time, but there's none left in the tournament. How could there be none left? It's a Sork versus Sork. It's literally only Sork. They're only fighting each other. How do they complain about balance in this tournament? It doesn't even make any sense.
How do they complain about balance when it's a 1v1 scenario against the same class? Weird.
Yeah, Goldstein lost to Zach, who's in the finals. I believe his name is Gesso? Yeah, Gesso. Dude, Gesso something. I'm calling him Gesso for short. It's like Gesso Martarn or Martron or Torn. Very, very good player. I actually I'm rooting for EU not to win most of these finals because Multi is EU and Sunny is EU, and I can't have a bunch of EU players winning an NA tournament. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, what are you point totaling us? What are we at so far, Russ?
I am.
Right.
I am putting up, so I'm putting up potential points.
Okay. And you remember that the person on the left and the right are the
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 points for the
person
left,
on the
1 for the
person
right.
on the left is 2. The person on the right is 1. Yeah. I'm tallying up the potential points right now. 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. Which is no. Give me a second. Potential points.
Carry the 1.
Yeah, carry the 1. Divide by 17. Minus 3 for the Meiwa. Okay.
Oh my god. I am not going to get justice in this.
What if Vert is not the cursed I am? I'm not cursed. My picks have been bad, but it's because...
I think you got more potential points than me, honestly.
Who?
2, 1, 1. Hold on. Wait, hold on. I lost track. 2, 1, 1. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. And potential points. Okay, so here's the potential points. And keep in mind, this is if you maximize your points. So potential points for Nayashe is 21.
Okay.
Potential points for Frosty is 18.
Ooh, close. Okay.
And potential points for myself is 14.
So
right.
I win.
And that's that's if we got the absolute most.
That
means
is if you get
I could get the most Nayashe and you could get the least, and I could still win. So it's not over.
We
These
picked a lot of the
huge.
same, so that's a pretty low likelihood that we wouldn't have at least.
That's because you're a copycat and couldn't make any decisions.
Oh bullshit! I picked first.
Yeah, I mean,
I can on about.
I can calculate based on like who wins, like who comes out on top. if you want me to.
No. I don't want to know.
No. So yeah, it's
Dude,
It's-
wait, Rez, did you see the me control? The number one question, Vert, that I got while I was like watching the tournament was, does Vert ever not wear his hat? Or like just a bunch of questions about you and your hat. And these are some of the memes that came out of it. You ready? So there was this one, which is me piloting you from the inside of your hat. I'll show you.
Oh my god.
This one is me literally piloting you. I'm actually inside your hat there helping you cast live at the tournament. And then so people kind of more understood what was happening and me telling you to mention PvE buffs. This one. This is the alien from Men in Black that's literally inside of like the people's heads that are controlling the people. And then we had a really good question or a really good meme for Nayashe in the Nayashe spot, which is this one, the standard look, Simba, everything light touches is AoE, and then Simba asked, what about that shadowy place? So that's Nayashe's spot. You must never go there. Which I believe Eumenidai created this one. Also quite good. Quite good. Poor Nayashe, dude.
poor Nayashe.
Nayashe, how does this meme make you feel? So I guess people know I'm an android now. Exactly. Oh man, it was pretty funny. Dude, I mean, actually, the most asked question for me was, who's the person on the left? Because everyone's like, wait, who is that? Because they didn't have your guys' names up. I feel like they should have had your guys.
Question.
What question?
What was the question? Did you ask me something?
Yeah, did you see this meme?
Oh no.
Look at this.
Hold
Read
on.
it. Let's get Nayashe's live reaction to this meme.
Fucking hell.
Oh
my god.
Oh, dude, the other funny thing too was all the commentators saying Barry had a human damage.
Bert, I have a feeling that you promoted that to make sure that everyone said that shit.
Armin said that Bear had a human damage build, and then Lemuria just ran with it and kept talking about the human damage build like for like 20 other fights after that. Like, do you think that people should be running Bear's human damage build for this fight? And Bear's like, I like talked to Bear. I was like, Bear, do you run a human damage build? He's like, no, I don't have any human damage crystals. Like literally none of them. He has a Lucas crystals. It's like the closest thing he has to human damage. It was pretty funny. But yeah, they should put like during the cast, they should have when it cuts back to you guys, they should have your guys' names under. Well, I mean, most people know who Vert are. A lot of people saw Armin for the first time, and then Lemuria, I think that was his first time on stream because, or no, like second time on stream. So not a whole lot of people knew who Lemuria was.
Okay, so I've done the math for me. Because fuck you guys, you can do your own math. I can still win. If I get the most points, if all of my people win and all of Nayashe's people lose, then I win by 1 point.
Ooh. Okay. Vert, I do also want to say, now, I'm going to keep this as vague as possible. I got to see a behind-the-scenes photo of you guys there at the studio, and all I can say, my comment on it, is BDO's production team is actually elite. Very, very good production team. I'll say no more. I'm leaving it at that. But that production team is absolutely fire. They know what's up. All
Pretty
right.
cool looking setup for them.
Very cool looking setup. Very cool looking setup. All right. So that's the those are the where we stand. It's looking Nayashe's in a trajectory of he's most likely to win, followed by me, followed by Wrestler.
I'm sending the updated thing now.
Okay.
So you should have it. All the names are crossed out and the potential points are at the bottom. Nayashe is definitely in the lead, definitely has the highest chance of winning. That being said, I've done the calculations, and if I can win, I'm pretty confident that means you can win too, because you have a much higher chance of getting points than me. So it's still anyone's game. So
Not out of the woods yet, but I'm looking pretty good.
you are looking pretty good. If I can come away with second, so I only have to spend half of my money, I'm down with it.
Okay.
I just don't want to spend all of my money, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. Let's go quad. I just need quad, 2 flannels, and multi and technique, and Hunter could lose to Divios, and I'll be fine. If I get those bot, like my picks are good. Like so, I'm going against
So you need
multiverse Q.
Yeah,
is big for me. Flannels is me and Nayashe stay the same. He has Dreed. I'm screwed on lawn. Like he's getting this no matter what. He's getting a point here.
Yeah.
but you need Meef to win, so he only gets 1 point instead of 2. Is the thing.
I've been murdered by Dree too many times not to put him on my list.
So here's what needs to happen. You need him to lose. You need TG to lose. You need Choice to lose.
I'm
need
so
short fuse.
screwed.
You need
Yeah,
short.
you're
You need
fucked.
short.
Oh my
You need
god.
you need short fuse to win. You need technique to win. I actually think it would probably be better for CC to lose, even though
Yeah,
you
no, I was
have him.
gonna say if CC loses, that's actually to
Yeah,
your benefit.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he gets a bigger gain out of it. I need CC
Yeah,
to
so
lose.
you
Sorry,
actually
CC.
kind of need CC to lose.
You're
You need multi to
fucked.
win. If
You
multi
need Sunny to
wins-
lose.
If multi wins, that's a huge win for you. That is a huge win for you if multi wins.
My big ones are
Um,
multi, technique, and quad.
Yeah, and I would say 2 mines too,
Yeah, 2 mines.
because
2 mines
that's
as
two
well.
2 points. 2 points for you, 1 point for him. And then you need all the ones where he's getting 2 and you have 1. You need him to lose.
I'm so
so you-
screwed.
you need
Yeah.
you need
You're fucked.
you need CC My Life to lose, and you need Sunny to lose.
You're fucked. There's no way in hell.
Statistically speaking, there's no way that Sunny, Q, Choice, and Fool all lose. There's absolutely no way they all lose.
I don't even think Liquid can lose to Quad.
And then
because I think
Paladin
Quad
too. He has
doesn't
Paladin.
appear.
I'm screwed, dude.
He does have Paladin, yeah.
My
Yeah, you're
God, dude.
fucked. You're fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not as fucked as I am, because literally my situation, I can do the points up for you if you want, like I did
but
for me.
you have some good. I mean, you still have Choice. I think you're actually less screwed.
No. I'm more screwed. Trust me. I've done the point. I need all of my picks to win, and I need all of his picks that I'm not involved in anymore to lose. Literally every single one of them has to happen like that.
Yeah, because I have a lot of the
has-
same picks as Rezlar too.
Yeah, if he has one person go through that I'm not involved in anymore, I lose. Because if the optimal thing happens, if all of my people win and all of Nayashe's people lose, I win by 1 point because of our shared picks.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm winning something in this tournament, baby.
So it's actually, I actually think it's impossible for Nayashe to get last. I think he can only get second. I think.
I think it's statistically impossible for me to just lose.
Okay. Well, I hope Nayashe gets second then. Sorry, Rezlar.
So let's calculate minimum points, because I feel like that's a good thing to do as well.
Rezlar, how much money do you have in your?
Yeah. Do you have
2 bill?
Oh yes.
You have 2 bill? Oh shit, that's it.
It took him the whole tournament to save up.
So the lowest amount of points that Nayashe can get, the absolute lowest amount of points, is 2. The lowest amount of points that Frosty can get is
Wait, you
3.
said 2?
Yes. Because you only have 2, so you want to calculate you're trying to figure out what can you not lose. So that's the ones where you've predicted both people in the finals.
Yeah.
So for Nayashe, that's Striker and Musa.
Lon and Lon.
Yeah, and Lon.
And Lon, sorry, 3.
So it's 3 and 3.
Frosty has Striker,
DK and Kuno.
DK and Kuno. So that's 3. And then I have Striker and DK, so 2. So you guys have 2, and then I have
We have
2.
3.
You guys have 3.
We have 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're screwed, Rose. You're actually
Yeah, you're
screwed.
fucked.
Yeah,
You are
it is.
fucked,
It
Rizzler.
is highly likely that I'm coming in last.
How does Rizzler always lose out on these bets?
I need.
Artorias
Well, listen,
Reslar says to tell you to start buying min price accessories right now.
Listen, I'll be the first one to admit I shot for the stars on some of these picks. All right, I went for Cade Lucifer just specifically because he's my guildie, and then he told me like 2 hours after I picked him, he's like, "Oh yeah, I can't even show up to it because I'm gonna be busy," and I was like, "All right, dope."
I know.
And I also shot for Musassin. Granted, I only made him my second pick, but I was hoping for the Cinderella story, our boy Musassin. So that's also pretty rough. So I went for some slam dunks. I literally just picked the 2 Guardians because I liked their names, Taco and Tubby McNuggets. So
God. All right. You ready for comments?
yeah, let's get that done. Let's wrap this up.
So that is the.
Is there any I gotta
wrap-up.
remove?
I'm gonna look right now, real quick. Hold on.
I'm also
Let's
gonna
see.
have a look real quick.
No, it looks okay.
Rizzler, does it seem like there's any scenario where I win and you get second?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So I can.
Yeah, it's just that you can't really get third, Nayashe. is the
Yeah.
thing
So
that's-
basically,
Yeah, it's
here's
impossible for me to
the.
get third almost.
I think the only thing, and I haven't calculated it, but I'm pretty sure the only thing that can't happen is Nayashe can't get third. Literally everything else is a possibility, if only slim.
Right. Okay. All right, here we go. You guys ready? Comment section. It's been a while, Nayashe, since you've interacted with our commenters, man.
Wait, when? Oh, yeah. I thought you said I interacted with them. No.
The Lord Veterinary says literally 0 views and puts a little face. LOLO says Apple Twinkle is a monster.
He is, dude. That dude was crazy. I'm shocked that he lost.
Devil Monkey said 3rd crystal slot for gear when they keep adding more soon. We will need it. Oh, I think
That'd
he's
be
saying because they're
interesting.
adding additional crystals. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just means more people are gonna be able to keep adamantians. So I'm good with them not adding more slots.
Well, adamantines are what, shoes?
Yeah.
Or so maybe we just don't add a 3rd shoe slot.
Musassin commented, he said, please tell Rizzler I'm sorry for losing, that he should stay streaming for 30 more minutes, and I'll drop a sub.
Dude, I'm more disappointed in Bear. We all picked Bear to win, and he let us down.
I was giving Bear the benefit of the
Dude.
doubt, but I knew his little shitty play style where he hops on his rocks wasn't going to work.
Oh my god. Dude, Bear was looking good too, man. I thought he was gonna take it. He played really well, so it's
If
all
only
good. He
if
dominated.
only he had a rock, he would have fucking won.
Because they did the if you guys didn't watch any of the tournament this weekend, they also, after each of the class matches, they did the 3rd, 4th place match after. And Bear gamed in the 3rd, 4th place match. Like he won 2-0. It's pretty
I'm
decisive.
also like, the other thing to consider is that, like, I think there's a lot of things that we thought were like fairly surefire that they were gonna at least make it into the finals that got put out, right?
Yeah.
So that would be like Ming and like Moors. Like a couple people that we were like, yeah, these guys are pretty safe picks that they're at least gonna make it to the finals. And they didn't.
Yep.
Also, Frosty, how did you not pick Choice? I am bewildered by the fact that you picked Slavage over Choice.
Because
Well, that was
choice is
good, but-
toxic.
It's just toxic.
Kuno says 4-hour podcast looking for group. Thanks, y'all. Heart. Welcome, man. Todd Thorson says everyone rolled Maywa because Feeds was a god at it.
Yeah.
Yogan Kaiten says, sorry for asking this here, but I could not catch you at your streams, Frosty. I have a question right now. I'm in the process of changing to pen armors from Ted armors. I'm playing Hashashin with the tagged Sage. I honestly enjoy them both thoroughly in both PvE and PvP. I'm in a pickle as to choose what to choose for my pen armors, evasion or DR. Sage won't benefit from evasion well at all, but I feel the need to go evasion since Hash is my main class. What would you recommend in this situation? Can I make DR Hash work in general gameplay? I don't node war or siege at all, so I'm asking for this general BA RBF duel for spot. Also, thank you all, Value Pack Game. Your podcasts are the reason I stay sane while grinding and gathering. Much love. I think that DR is fine, and down the road, like, here's the thing about DR and evasion is it can be annoying to swap, and you'll basically take like 2 weeks out of your life to swap. But I did it twice, and it wasn't that big a deal. I swapped from DR to evasion once, got back to full C9, and then swapped from evasion to DR, got back to full C9. It's not that permanent. Before you go for pen accessories, you can rethink about your decision and, like, do you want to go for Sissels and Centaur or Orkinrad and change back to evasion down the road? And if so, then, and you end up not playing Sage, then you can do that. But I think DR is fine for now. On Hash, DR is, like, evasion is obviously really strong on Hash, but it's not the end of the world too. I was able to go to node war on DR Hash and top frag like over and over again. So suck Hash, not awakening. Poor awakening. All right. Zeagle says, no Nayashe when there is another Meiwa as a guest Sag.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. It was a last minute guest, right? Or something like that?
Yeah.
Can't remember what you guys said. Yeah, so it wasn't like I really even had an opportunity to do
Were we
anything
not
about it.
recording when we talked about that earlier?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
A Sharon Eclipse says, I think CC reduction would be better for the game if they still want a way to deal with CCs, like 25% CC reduction reduces a 4-second cooldown to 3 seconds, or a 4-second CC to 3 seconds. And then he says, edit, okay, maybe not. I just thought about it. And with that, you'd never know how long your CCs are going to last. Yeah, that's the problem with that. I think that works in, I don't know. I mean, they do that in League, right? They have a, what do they call it? What's that stat called? That lowers tenacity. But I think in BDO it'd be weird. I don't know. It'd be hard to balance. Alexander LaFortune says, please note that the limit on slow stacking is not a limit on the slow applied by the skills themselves, but instead a limit on the speed based on the base speed of the target. The change is clearly intended to address extreme situations where a player would be stuck in an animation due to over-the-top stacking of slows, and no way does it pertain to be a balance change. So just to stop right there, I actually think that might not be true. I still think it's a 50-50 chance because of the way it's worded on Global Labs. But we'll have to see. He also adds, if one were to limit the slow cap value to 70% from the base speed, what would be fair to do for skills such as paralysis and retardando, up the duration, lower the cooldown, add a 200 pain damage dot to them? I think I'd like the dot though. I mean, those skills are so nuts. I still would not. I wouldn't buff them. And then he says, I agree, slow or annoying classes that never should have been getting more than 30% are getting 37% with the add-on. Looking at you, Gravedigger. And as a general commentary, it seems to me that it'd be best for classes to let go of extreme cases. Broken super armor blocks, broken slows, broken vacuum effects, broken buffs, broken speed. The reason why a class like Awakening Witch needs the slows because some extreme block speed class combine to poor mobility and self-defense capabilities against grabs. Sorry, my cats are acting crazy. Yeah. Do you guys have any thoughts or comments on that?
I think
Really?
the problem you start approaching when you start like mentioning stuff like that is it's like people have different opinions on like what an extreme is, right? So like I don't know, it's just I don't know. Some classes have extreme things for a reason and they're balanced around that extreme thing. I don't know. It's kind of whatever. I think having an extreme whatever is fine if it's actually balanced in a way where you have to play around that very extreme thing.
Yeah.
What comes to mind for me, obviously, is like Berserker. Like a lot of people get really upset with Berserker because it has 4 grapples, and grapples are OP and takes no skill and yada yada yada. But it's like really all we have, right? Because Zerker basically has like in Awakening, at least. I can't really say shit for Succession because I don't PvP in it, but in Awakening, you basically have like one other like really good CC in Moving Shot, and then you kind of have like a cheese CC if you take the Rabomb Giant Leap. So like we basically have our grabs and like damn near nothing else is kind of the thing. So you really have to play around it. And we know that, and you know that, and so it becomes this game of avoiding the grabs, which if you want to talk about whether that game should be easier for the opponent or harder for the Zerker or whatever, then we can have that discussion. But that is how like the class is balanced, it seems like, right? So if you start saying, well, we need to take away these extremes, so Zerker needs to lose 2 of its grabs, then you start getting into a lot of other balance questions like, okay, well then what are we going to give Zerker like in terms of catch potential to like offset the balance of removing those grabs, right? And this is the case with a lot of classes. If you start removing these extreme things that they're balanced around, at least in part, then there's going to be required even more balance changes to offset what was previously like done around those extreme aspects of their kit. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling.
Yeah. The Awkward Ninja says, TLDR, I want to see an anti-melee class and some other less important notes. I think the damage type DR for Siege Node War is pretty interesting because it lets you swap the DR type to melee if melee ends up being OP2, or if you are permaset to Cannon Squad, you could run melee DR to deal with the Ninja Lawns ganking you. Basically, I think it is cool that there's a good way to counter single class stacking or really tool yourself for one job. I would also...
That's the passive thing.
Yeah. I would also like to field my idea for a buff. Yes, a buff to Musa and Mewa to make them more of a niche. It has been brought to my attention that Musa and Mewa lack a niche, whatever that means, since they are the worst assassin, some former Musa. Now to the point. With the ability to specialize your focus for killing things to a damage type, I think this is a great change to make Musa Mewa into the melee killer. By expanding their melee evasion passive to be a bit more potent, or alternatively some more melee DR so they can reliably outtrade Ninja Kuna Warrior. I think Musa and Mewa theme-wise are the best fit for a class in this niche without making a new class. Also, the FD stuff was all to do with PvP damage on Succ launch. Also, Steam release, I would put my money on PA pushing for the less PvP from the top being part of the changes than players themselves. I mean, the idea in theory is cool, but I mean, everyone that's magic DR like can't stand, or magic damage can't stand Mystic Striker, and it's like a weird thing to be countered by a class.
Yeah, do you really want to make that same thing for melee?
Yeah, it's
also I think it's kind of interesting because it's like so you're good against melee, but a lot of the melee classes are like these shield classes that bladers really struggle with. So is it really a counter when they just sit and block and grab you whenever you walk up to them?
The problem is we need to be able to like pressure their shield enough, and we just can't without being grabbed.
Yeah. The Spoon Elite says timestamps win, which this one had timestamps, so I was kind of confused by that.
Yeah, the one before I think didn't have timestamps because I just never got around to it, or I did it late. I don't remember, but this one did, so I was also very confused by that comment. The timestamps for anyone who is unaware is always in the description of the video.
Yeah.
If it's not there on video release, I usually put it up a little bit later whenever I have time.
First Name says, tell the Tamers to stop showing off in the AOA tournament so Tamers can finally get some buffs. Mark and Ho says, here's the thing with Tamers, like, I don't know. I talked about this with Balance, the guy in the tournament, the Tamer. It's like weird because he knows like there's like a fine line. Like there's a weird, like if you just made all of their AoEs bigger, like that class would be nuts, right? And so he was saying that if it were up to him, he would like to just increase the AoE size of Beast Rampage and All Around Spinner so that for Node War combos, he can 1vx a little bit better instead of only being able to focus down like one person. And those skills wouldn't really change 1v1 in any way by being bigger AoE because they're more just like combo damage.
Yeah.
So
See, originally that was kind of the problem Mayo had, but then they buffed up Petal Bloom, Frost Pillar, and Tip of the Iceberg's like width and depth of how far the damage went. So that actually did help a lot. So yeah, I think that would be a pretty good change for Tamer. 'Cause, yeah, that's exactly what they did to those two skills, and they're actually useful now. Besides buffing up the damage too, as well.
Mark and Ho says Lancia, I don't know how to say that, is pronounced like more or less Eustace Sai. Welcome to Latin. Also, why is NA so behind on Valks? They're pretty relevant across the ocean. What? No, we have Valks are like really prominent on our server. I'm not sure where that comes from. Yeah, there's a lot of Valks on NA. It's a popular class. Manira says, excuse me, what DK? DK is a class where you don't use pre-awakening, ? All of our CCs, other than Seed Float that we recently got back, are in pre-awakening. Our hardest hitting accuracy skills in pre-awakening. Most filler skills are in pre-awakening. 3 of our 5 essays are in pre-awakening if you count Twilight. Otherwise, it's 3 out of 4. And disregard Smoky, which is usable in both. Before awakened damage buffs last year, most of our damage was in pre-awakening as well, to the point that a year ago, most awakened DKs would spend 60 to 70% of their time in pre-awakened stance compared to awakening. You use awakening a lot in PvE because PvE damage of absolutes is bad, but for essays and fillers, you still use main hand. And in large scale, yes, you mostly use awakening. That's because our range skills are in there. Awakening is used for damage, kiting, and trading, but if you want to combo effectively, you want to use pre-awakening as well. I can't remember who said that awakening, who said DK stays mostly in awakening.
I think there was a comment about it because I had brought up like it seems like they're kind of moving away from the half and half play style, and then there was a comment that was like, well, isn't DK kind of like that? And we were like, yeah, I guess it kind of is.
Oh, okay. Awkward Ninja's taking blame. He said it was him. Yeah. Okay, so Svarnir Troon says, can we just rebalance adamantines? The percentages are too high. They are too high.
Agreed.
I agree.
Agreed.
No, you don't understand. They're adding a new offhand crystal.
Yeah, which doesn't really even help against adamantines, sadly. The Fatsanong saying, yeah, I was like mathing it out. This isn't even counting classes that have extra resist in their passive or like mana shield and stuff. But basically, if you're running 2 adamantines on a standard DR build and you run these 2 crystals for the 20%, you still have like a 49% chance to resist or something like that, or 50% on knockdown bound. So weird.
Jesus.
So dumb. Yeah, so Fedathong, I can't pronounce this. I was listening to the whole podcast while sleeping. Then I heard someone read my comment and be like, bruh, no, waking up in the process. Now I'm here with 4 hours of sleep. Well, luckily this time you won't hear your name because I can't figure out how to pronounce it. I think Reslar did it last week because the podcast was long and my voice hurt.
Yeah. Also,
yep.
Apparently our podcast puts people to sleep. Who knew?
Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
It's good. You can learn English with our podcast. You just listen to it while you sleep.
You just let us be on in your ear overnight.
Yeah. Foxerta S says, what if successful CC resist gives plus 50 DP evasion buff instead, depending on what kind of CC? Also, how do you use BDO, or how do you see BDO 5 years from now? I kind of like the DP evasion buff idea for resist. I think that if you see that you're not doing a whole lot of damage to someone, it's a lot easier to disengage than it is when a CC resists, especially for slow classes. So I'd prefer that.
So
over
you're
what
saying
we have.
instead of like your CC just not going through,
It
what'll
procs
happen is they'll get a buff.
Yeah, they'd get a buff. It would proc a buff to make them a little bit tankier for a short time. I think it'd be kind of interesting. I think it'd be more interesting than what we currently have, honestly. But
I mean, yeah, you know, anything's an improvement over literal dog shit. So, you know.
and then, how do you guys see BDO 5 years from now?
Not being played.
If it's still being played heavily 5 years from now, the MMO industry literally just failed. Honestly,
Yeah, I just can't see a world where this game is still like populated in 5 years. I think between every other MMO coming out and Crimson Desert being in the works, I don't know. I would be shocked if this game was still, because that would also mean if this game was around for, because didn't they just celebrate 5 years in KR?
yeah, that would be 10 years for them.
Yep.
So it would be 10 years. It would be a 10-year-old game by that point. I feel like there's not a lot of games that make it 10 years, or a lot of games that if they do make it 10 years, they are still very well populated and enjoyed by a lot of people.
Yeah, I completely disagree with you both. I think that it will still be played in 5 years. It might not be as popular, but I think it'll still be played. There's still really old MMOs that people are playing, and I also, while some of the new MMOs coming out look interesting, none of them are like guaranteed gonna be great, and most of them I'm betting are gonna be awful. So
But you don't think that like whenever Prelibis like releases Crimson Desert,
no, they said now their last
not
line is
going
that
to
it's
affect this game.
their last line is that it's not an MMO, and so if it's too different from the MMO genre, then no, it will not affect this game. If it feels like an MMO and it like really feels like an MMO, so then it's kind of like a replacement, then maybe, but I don't know. Kind of the way they're describing it and how fast they're releasing it makes me think it's more like story-driven thing, and you'll kind of be done with the game after a while. And yeah, like I said, like I don't know. A lot of MMOs, I mean, MMOs are still coming out with tab targeting, so BDO seems relatively safe, and it's not like they're going to stop releasing content. Now, here's the thing. There's going to be people playing it in 5 years, in my opinion, and they're all going to be sheriffs, and they're all going to have sheriff outfits, and they're going to run all the PvPers off the server, and it's going to be a nice, fun, safe PvE game where everyone's a policeman. It's going to be great.
I don't know. I just don't. Even if the game is still online in 5 years, I just don't know if it's going to be like in a state that you would consider healthy.
Maybe. I think it will be, though.
I think it'll be probably in a pretty decent state by that point, but there'll be so many other games that are like more exciting at that time.
I mean, that I'm with you, Nayashe. Like,
I don't know about that one, honestly.
I'm optimistic.
yeah.
Dude, people have been saying that for like the last 3 years.
That what?
About like, dude, all these upcoming games look super good. BDO's definitely gonna die, and then it's like, it's fucking not Elion, it's fucking Bless Online or Revelation or some other bullshit. Now Arcade, Unchained. Now you're gonna have Elion, dude. I'm playing the closed beta, dude. Elion is like actually pretty sick, dude. BDO might be done for. It's like, yeah, sure, man. Like I think if BDO is gonna die, it's gonna be because of
Star Citizens
BDO
come out
and Perlibis. I don't think. Because here's the thing: the only way I could see another game killing BDO, like truly killing it, putting it in the fucking dirt, is if it had BDO's combat and just like improved on that, right? And I just don't think, like, for some strange reason, we live in a world where people still think tab target is okay in 2021, and I just don't see it happening. So I think if this game dies, or when this game dies, it's going to be because of BDO. It's going to be because of Prelibis. They're going to do it to themselves. It's not going to come from an outside force.
Completely with that, I think they will definitely kill the game themselves.
I don't think any other game can bring this game down. I think everybody I think everybody who's left this game because they were like waiting on another game or whatever is already gone, and now all that's going to happen is Prolobus is going to slowly hemorrhage the player base that they have left with garbage karma systems and fucking awful like monetization, like Ponzi schemes and shit like that. They're just going to slowly whittle down the rest of their player base.
I see. I think I don't know. The
Don't
problem
they
for me,
don't they like awkwardly own like a whole bunch of like hair salon shops or something too?
I don't
What
know.
was
Wait, what?
I don't know.
yeah, isn't that a thing?
Every time I see a new MMO, it's either tab target or it's action combat, but it's that weird action combat where your torso stays facing forward when you strafe, but your legs move 90 degrees to the left as if to snap your spine if you did that in real life. And I can't. And then they swing there's the thing. Every time I see a new MMO, I want to be excited because I think there is no more fun feeling as a player for MMO than like
It's a new
that new
experience.
MMO with all of your friends where you're like actually having a good time.
And
Yeah.
you know what's the most hilarious about that, Frosty? You want to know what style MMO like has actually done combat like the best in terms of not being garbage tab target, being actually decent action combat with like full animations. It's always fucking weeb MMOs. It's always
Yeah.
these anime MMOs that have, it's like, dude, this combat system is fantastic, but there's always a catch. It's always like, it's not really an MMO though. It's like hub based, or it's not really like it's an MMO, but it's purely PvE. There's no PvP allowed whatsoever. It's like, fuck, dude, like you're so close.
Yeah. A lot of people are mentioning Lost Ark. So the problem with Lost Ark for me is two things. One, it's isometric and just not
Yep.
everyone likes that. Some people
Yep.
like it. I actually don't mind isometric. I can have fun in isometric, but not everyone likes that. And two, the
Hi.
game, when it comes out, we are going to be 5 years behind in combat and have to see balance changes and all this stuff. Or in content, sorry, 5 years behind in content, and it will never catch up. It's just never, ever, ever going to happen. It'll never
Also,
catch
like,
up.
I'm sorry, but like the hype has died.
No, that hasn't
like,
happened to BDO. We're behind like a couple weeks on things, and when they get a new region, at most we have to wait like 6 months nowadays. Like Odalita took us it came out in March for them and for us in October. If we had to wait 4 years for Lost Ark, for Odalita, people would quit. No one would play.
Yeah, like it's the hype for Lost Ark has died too. Is the thing, right?
Mhm.
It's been too long. They missed their window, and that's often the problem with these not even necessarily Korean, but just like Asian developers in general. Because there's been like I've seen people that get excited for like Chinese MMOs, but it doesn't come out until like 10 years later, and the graphics look like dog shit, and the gameplay is like whatever. And it's like they just wait too long to try and port it to the West, and then
Yeah.
everybody who was excited for it has been like, "Oh yeah, I remember that game, dude. That game looks sick." Anyways,
Yeah, Eastern MMOs, man, they're just not updated. I mean, yeah, BDO was like that at launch. It was pretty far behind, but they caught up relatively quickly. And like, if you look at console now, like people just don't tolerate it. They just quit or switch to PC. Like being that far behind feels really bad when you already know what the new content is. And I mean, I feel like on console it's even worse because it's like already translated and everything. There's
Also-
like literally not a reason to hold it back.
wait, pause. What didn't we get BDO only 1 year after it had been released in KR?
Yeah.
Not 5.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Yeah, we only got it
Like
a year
that
after.
is a huge difference. Like what?
Yeah, so I think the game came out, Lost Ark came out in November 2016 or November 2017, one of those two. It's like it's a long time.
It is. It's a really long time. You can't stay hyped for that long.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like it's just not possible. At least your average person can't. If you're like a super devout person and like this is the only thing you live for, first of all, you probably need help. But second of all, that's cool. That's not your average person. Like you just can't stay hyped for something that long. Like you're just going to get bored. You're going to get interested in other things. You're going to forget about it. And then eventually it comes out and you're going to remember and you might try it out, but you don't have that same level of excitement that you did like before that. Like, dude, I remember when Monster Hunter World released and like they were like, yeah, so the PC release is gonna happen in like 1 year or some shit. And I remember there were people that were hyped like that entire time.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's probably the most amount of time that people are willing to stay hyped for, honestly. Because it's like the same thing with BDO. It was like 1 year, right? So I don't know.
Rest in peace, Wildstar. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like when Lost Ark comes out, like I'm gonna play it. I just don't feel confident that I'm gonna be able to see a version that has like 5 more classes and way more content while I'm stuck again. I just hate that. I hate it in BDO. I hate it in BDO when we're only like 2 weeks behind on a balance change. It drives me nuts. Like I hated it in Terra. Dude, in Terra was so bad. I mean, I've talked about it on here before, but it was like you saw the balance change that was literally plaguing your game and you wouldn't get it for 6 months, even though you already know what's changing. It like, dude, like imagine like the changes we just got last week with Succ Wizard and Succ Sage, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna get that in October. Like that would suck. I hate that feeling.
But
anyway,
I mean, here's the good news, right? The good news for like the MMO community at large is that Riot Games is making MMO that's going to kill literally every other MMO on the market. They're all dead, including WoW and classic WoW for that matter. Old school RuneScape, who cares anymore? BDO, fucking ESO, fucking everything. It's all going to die as soon as Riot comes out with their MMO. /S, if you couldn't tell. I'm being sarcastic. Although I am looking forward to it.
The League MMO?
Yeah,
I think
I'm
it has
excited.
a chance to be good.
Dude, I'm just excited to explore more of that universe because that's like the only game that I actually give 2 shits about like the lore, which is funny because there's literally 0 of it within the game itself. But it's actually pretty interesting when you start getting into it. So like being able to explore a world of that story, I'm actually kind of excited for it in all honesty.
Yeah. I mean, it seems cool on the surface. What will kill it is if they make classes only have 5 skills. or if they decide to stay isometric for an MMO.
Or if they do tab target. Nah, who are we kidding? It'll still be successful. We just won't play it.
All right. So Solvation says if they had PvE servers and want to avoid them being overrun with rotation griefers, just give it a minus 50% item drop rate, and only the most PvP averse people will go there. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. They PvE servers and they have a negative drop rate. Bloodwolf says, I am a Steamy and I play BDO mainly for toxic open world PvP. Anyway, BDO's open world PvP is timid compared to true PvP oriented MMORPGs like AOW. Wait, what's AOW?
AOW?
AOW was a true PvP oriented MMORPG. What is
Isn't that really old internet? You boomers should know.
Oh, AOL? That's,
yeah, dude, AOL.
That's a true PvP system? Is it AOL chat rooms from back in the day?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, makes sense. The Stratmeister says the blue text below where it talks about movement stacking says this is changed to be part applied only up to 50%, even if it overlaps with effects of multiple skills, is only applied up to 50%. This makes me think the debuffs are only capped at 50% regardless of attack speed buffs, etc. Yeah, I hope that's true. Because
I don't think that's how it is, but I also hope.
Yeah, I hope that's true, but we'll see. Raw Fury says, why do people believe duel for spot is beneficial to the person already at the grinding area? When you say DFS, that means I can say no and you leave. No? Every person's different on this. If someone asks me to duel for spot, I don't mind. Most of the time,
you don't own the spot.
most of the time I'll duel them. But if I'm like close to finishing anyway, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna be done in a second, or whenever I'm gonna be done. Or if I just want to duel for spot, I'll be like, I just want to duel for, and I'm like tired of dueling, then I'll be like, I just want to duel for spot, man. I'm not dueling again. Sorry. You could deck. That's what usually I'll say if I really don't feel like dueling, I'll just say you can deck. But most of the time I duel.
Here's the thing you gotta understand as well. Like, yeah, you can say no, but then they can flag on you, or they can deck you, or
For now.
like for now, yeah. Just like you have options, like they have options too, right? So it's like, yeah, you can say no, and I think there are a lot of players that will just be like, well, I mean, okay, then I guess. Maybe not a lot, but there's quite a few. I've experienced them personally. I mean, there's several times recently where somebody's came up and asked DFS or started grinding, and then I just tell them no, or I just ask them to leave, and then they leave. So,
you know what's even worse is like, I mean, we're thinking about NA or EU, but imagine on SA or SCA where they have 9 channels or 13 channels. And now they're going to all just be overrun by sheriffs. I don't know why the word sheriff sounds so funny in this context. I like want to keep saying it.
you know what I've always wondered? Is there like a, maybe there's some EU people that can answer this. Is there like any language barriers on EU? Because like it's so many different countries that play on the server, right? Do you ever like have somebody come up to your spot and then start speaking in like a different language that you don't know? And you're trying to like understand the best you can, but you don't know what they're saying, and then you just see them flag up, and you're like, all right, that's a universal language that everyone can understand.
I think I've heard from people that play in EU that are Italian. Sometimes they don't really understand the French people all that well. So yeah, I guess there's some cases where that can be.
There's a lot of differing opinions on this. There's not. Let's see, different language, they'll just ignore you. They sometimes, if they're emotional, they'll start cursing. Someone just said Germans. Another person said it's rare.
Dude, it's actually funny you mentioned that, because so Adri lives in Germany, and she swears up and down that like Germans are like the worst people to encounter like online. Like that, basically she says that they only speak German, and even if you tell them that you don't speak German, like if you're in a raid with them and you say like, hey, I don't speak German, can you guys speak English? Like they might talk to you in English, and then they'll just go right back to speaking German.
Bert said that used to happen to him all the time on NA, and then they started banning pilots. That's true.
Yeah, true, dude, true.
Someone comes up, like you literally like go into the spot and you say how long, and they say spot please, and I'm like, no, how long are you until you're done? And they'll be like, spot please. I'm like, wait. And then it's someone you recognize too, and it's like, why don't you know English anymore, man? We were just talking and hanging out the other day, and suddenly you don't know English, and they're like, spot please, with all caps. Like, all right. Poison says, watch them nerf Succ Wiz Witch protection and then give it back with core skills. I saw this in someone's chat the other day. It was really funny. Someone's like, LOL, people are so happy about the super armor nerf on Voltaic Pulse. I'll just put it back with core skills. It's like, oh.
Weird champ.
I know, it's just funny. Lunatic Max Hammer says, how much money do you spend per month, and for what do you use it in BDO? I thought this was a cool question. Maybe people don't feel comfortable, but how much money do you spend per month, and what do you use it on in BDO?
So like right now,
yeah,
I guess
basically, or on average, I guess.
Right now, not a lot. I basically just buy like value packs. I can usually get books and camas off the market quite often, and so I almost essentially just buy value packs and the occasional costume that comes out where I'm like, ooh, that looks fucking good. That's basically all I buy at this point usually. Now if you would have asked me like 2 years ago, yuck, a lot of money. A
Yeah.
lot of money was spent on this game. At my worst, I was probably spending like $100 a week, probably $100 every 2 weeks.
Yeah. On what though? Like, what were you getting?
So
Die fan only picks.
yeah, a lot of costumes actually. So before costume melting came out, I had like minimum 5 costumes on like every single character that I had, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here's the thing about me is I'm actually a huge like fashion whore. So whenever I see something that I think might even possibly look good, I like so badly want to buy it. Now that's really died down mostly because I own almost every single or have owned almost every single Berserker outfit in the game. But yeah, it was a real problem back in the day. So
Nayashe?
Mostly value packs, camo blessings, stuff like that. So I've spent a fair share. I don't know exactly how much, but I'd probably have a bigger house.
Same, dude. I like. All right, so obviously, like, for a long time, I actually didn't really use camo blessings. Probably until like Succ Stars End came out, but I wasn't using camo blessings for like Gahas or like the back in those days. So it was mostly just costumes, but then like that 1 year with reroll coupons was pretty rough for me.
Oof.
It was not good. Like my rerolling was like crazy. I actually don't like to get artisans. Like I rarely get artisans because I think artisans are super not worth. I mean, they're like really nice, but I just feel like to me it's not that hard to buy memory fragments. Back in the day, I guess it was harder, but back then I don't even know. I don't even know what I did back then. Like I don't know how we got memory fragments back in the day in the old Central Market, but so I'll get artisans, but I will never buy artisans for the freaking normal price. It is an absolute ripoff in my opinion. But like occasionally, like once every like, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, if there's like a really good deal and I'm gonna do an enhancement session, maybe I'll get artisans. But for me, it's like, just costumes and reroll coupons. But it's pretty bad.
you spent a lot of money on this game when reroll coupons existed.
Reroll coupons were the death of me and my family. Yeah.
You I can't even begin to fathom, and you might have an idea and you probably don't want to say, but I couldn't even imagine how much money you spent on reroll coupons when that was just a thing that you could buy in the shop.
At least $1,200. I actually don't know exactly how much, but at least.
Because I remember,
I
like,
don't want to look up my history then.
there
'Cause
was
I know it's
one
way over
point-
that.
Just on reroll
was-
coupons, like that has been the absolute biggest like
Yeah.
portion of my spending in
Oh,
this
okay.
game. Yeah.
there was one point in time I remember where you re-rolled.
No, I could tell
You
you.
bought.
I had I call it it was my weekend of darkness. I went from I was a Kuno, and then I bought a set of reroll coupons. And keep in mind, for a lot of this, I can't remember if this was the case for this weekend, but I got reroll coupons. I was gonna say, keep in mind, I also had to get like Nuver and Kudum, but I think I was evasion at the time, so I think I only had to get Kudum because I was using it for both. But I was a Kuno on Friday, and then at the end of Friday I was a ninja, and then on Saturday I was a mystic, and then on Sunday I was a Succ, and Sunday night I was a Kuno again. It was really, really bad. It was a rough weekend. I was just like, fuck, I hate all these classes and I have to go back to Kuno. This sucks. What a waste of money.
Yep.
It was a rough weekend, dude. It was a rough weekend, dude.
I can literally imagine that self-conversation.
But I learned
it
a
was
lot.
like-
All right, I learned a lot.
And I remember whenever they got rid of reroll coupons, You bought four
I-
pairs?
No. I bought 2 sets. I bought 2 sets of reroll. I had just finished like rolling too much, and then they like got rid of the reroll coupons, and I bought 2 sets, and I think they gave us 1 for that like tournament event thing, so I had like 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the tagging, it hasn't been better for me. Like,
Well,
look at
it's-
this.
It just means
Well, hold on. It's been better for your IRL wallet, but worse for your in-game wallet, I think is the thing.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, I guess so. That's true. Yeah, it's actually true. I haven't really been spending lately because I'm still a sucker for new costumes. Like basically every time a new costume comes out, even if I hate it, there's like something on it that I like either the helmet or the weapon. Like this most recent Kuno outfit, I kind of hate the outfit, but the weapon is so good. I know I can't help myself. I had to get it.
it's a fair amount
Yeah.
of costumes I've purchased.
Dude, I'm the same way. Like, if I look at something and I'm like, even a single piece looks mildly decent, then I'm like, I kind of want it. So, like, the Archer outfit that came out as a good example.
Dude, it's so cool looking.
I looked at it and I was like, oh, God, I hate this helmet. And then I kind of sat on it and then I kept looking at it like over the couple of days and I was like, that armor might look good with a couple different helmets I have though. And I bought it. And then I'm just sitting there dyeing this outfit that I don't even really care that much for on a class I don't fucking play. And I'm like, yeah, it was that but large scale a couple years ago is what I was spending money on.
Yeah, if they added outfits as much as League, they'd make so much money. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so much.
So my tag, this is my recent tag update, and I am planning to tag again in the future. I want to try something new, but so far I have tagged Mystic, Tamer, Sorc, Ninja, Nova, Hash, Sage, and then Kuno again, and it's cost me around 20 bill, which is
It's kind of funny.
Hmm.
So originally when you wanted to reroll, it costed you a lot of silver.
a lot of silver. Yeah,
And then they came out with reroll coupons and it costed you a lot of dollars.
So,
And then they got rid of reroll coupons and added the tag system and now it costs you a lot of silver.
a lot.
yeah, but
I miss when my rerolls were just swapping tri weapons and tet weapons. And just getting taxed. The problem with it back then was like you didn't know if you were ever going to get a weapon because weapons didn't sit.
Yeah.
So rerolling was hard.
yeah.
Yeah. Those are the days, man. Remember back when like you would get a tri ogre ring and you were like, dude, that's it. I'm never changing this
I'm
necklace
done
out.
for like
Yeah.
6
You're
months to a
like,
year.
I'm done, dude. You'd get you got like you got full tet and you're like, dude, that's it. I'm in game.
I have a question. Would you guys, based like because of the money that you've spent, do you think it makes it harder to quit the game and play a different game?
No.
The reason I asked that is because someone was like, "Yeah, f that. I've spent too much money. I'm stuck on this game for a while." But I don't feel that at all. If I fell in love with a different game, I don't care. I would instantly swap if I was like just way into it. And
so
I would ask that
fun.
individual.
Here's the thing. Here's the
did-
thing. If you don't feel like the money that you've spent on the game was worth the entertainment you got out of that, I could see why you
Then
would
you have
feel
another
like
problem.
that.
Exactly.
Right.
But I personally don't regret like a single dollar I've spent on this game. As
No
much as I
regrets.
rail on this game and specifically the devs of it for like putting it in a fucking shitter. Like I honestly feel like as much money as I've spent on it, I haven't gotten I've gotten an appropriate amount of entertainment for the amount of money that I've put into it, honestly. And so I have no regrets, and thus I have no issues leaving it behind because I feel like the amount of money I've spent has been proportionate to the amount of fun that this game has given me.
Yeah.
So I think if you didn't feel like that, though, I could see why you would think like that. But yeah, not me personally. I'm assuming you guys probably feel the same.
I've definitely wasted more money on fast food.
Yeah. Or it's
Arguably
like-
just Del Taco.
I just look at it as entertainment, just like how
You mean
were saying.
shitty Taco Bell?
I hate you. They're not even comparable. Taco Bell sells cinnamon twists. Who the fuck wants cinnamon twists? Not even. Come on. Daz says Voltaic nerf was warranted. It's just too much compared to Bolide. Hopefully one day there will be a reason to actually decide between the two instead of just picking one because it's superior. And I'm personally fucking hype for the 1 second shorter ME. The changes can't come soon enough. What is ME? 1 second shorter.
1 second
ME.
shorter in.
I was thinking Shake Off at first because that got a 1 second cooldown reduction, but that's not ME. I don't know what ME is.
Meteor?
1 second shorter ME. Magical evasion for which? There we go. Okay. Yeah, the 1 second shorter magical evasion is kind of nice. Also, 3 second shorter condemn the flow on Awaken Hash, and 3 second shorter Vice for Lawn as well. Like, there's a couple cooldown reductions that are nice. Something Void says after the caster. Sorry. Daz goes on to say the main problem with seasons, in my opinion, were that they were tied to specific dates. People wanting to check the game out mostly because they heard of seasons and how it makes your life easier, and having them tell you better off waiting 3 weeks for next season to start or similar sucked because you know they're not going to check back if they haven't even started the game. Yeah, but it's just like inherently like what seasons are. Seasons are like always time based. I don't know. No, Cage, I haven't spent that much on Twizzlers, but I do love Twizzlers. The Poland peels, not the strawberry plastic straws.
That's what I was about to say. Like, what the fuck? Are you a psychopath?
The cherry Poland peels are delicious. I don't know why people hate on them, but the strawberry ones are like literally hard as plastic. I don't know what's up with those. Something Void says, after the caster nerfs, another thing they could do balance-wise for large scale would be to take some of the slower skills in most classes, give them a protection, damage, and AoE, and remove any CC. And I'm saying the slow skills so that they would be mostly useful in large scale and help some classes PvE not affect 1v1 as much. I feel like that's too vague.
I fail to see how adding a quote-unquote slow skill, so I'm assuming a longer animation, giving that super armor, meaning people are going to be able to linger SA, is not supposed to affect 1v1s.
Twizzlers are not trash, Smash. Take that back. Not the Poland peels. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we really need more protections overall in the game. Like, some classes maybe are lacking some Succ Kuno, but others are not. Zor says, as a Succ Mystic main, I love the buffs along with the recent PvE buffs, but it feels like PA put a spotlight on Succ Mystic and it's so bright. By the way, love the podcast, Real Gold. I don't understand why people are freaking out about the Succ. All right, Succ Mystic's damage is going to be insane, probably, most likely, but honestly, the thing is that's so weird about the changes is they don't even affect, like, the outcome of large scale for Mystics. Like right now, Sammy and Tina, for example, I'm gonna use him as an example, so I apologize, Sammy and Tina, don't get mad at me. But he uses Wizard and Node War. These damage changes are not going to change that. He's going to continue to use Wizard and Node War because they need like utility or different types of protection, or like some things rotated. Like maybe Soul Basher SA is kind of unnecessarily long SA for no reason. But maybe if they remove that SA to kind of like add an opening to the kit, but then give like super armor on Unbridled Wrath, like their damage, that would help in Node War. But right now, like just adding damage to their normal skills is like such a weird change to help them for large scale.
I have a question for you guys. I found myself being nostalgic the other day, and we might have talked about this before, but if we have, I think it's been a while. That or I just forgot, which is also likely. Do you guys think our current TTK is fine? Or do you think it should be... Like, do you think we should have a higher TTK? Because I was thinking back to the old days of BDO, and if you're a BDO boomer like me, the TTK back in the day was actually, like,
super
pretty
long.
high.
Yeah.
I think we touched on it when we talked with Vert last week, but we didn't really go into it that much. We just kind of talked about... because I think Vert mentioned something about how like you would have to CC in full combo people like 2, sometimes even 3 times.
Yeah.
But we didn't really go into it much more than that. And so I was kind of thinking about the old days, and I was wondering if like maybe some of the game's issues come from such a low TTK that we have now as compared to back in the day. Not that back in the day didn't have issues, but I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, there's a lot of systems that are outdated that are still in the game due to that older style of PvP. Because I mean, yeah, you guys were right. When I listened to that part of the podcast last week, I think it was last week. Um, yeah, like Bert was right. You'd have to do like, probably around 10 skills to do a full combo on people. Maybe more in some cases if you really wanted to style on people, but you could do that. Now, mind you, it's not really healthy in a 1vx scenario, but it wasn't as bad back then because there was a lot less protection, so you could actually CC people randomly in between when you're comboing sometimes. So yeah, I mean the TTK is pretty significantly lower nowadays.
It's weird because on the low end, the time to kill is really low, and then on the high end, the time to kill is pretty high. Like it's this weird thing where when I run into players with, for example, Nayashe's DP, he gets instantly deleted. And then I run into players in Chonation or Snake, and I can't kill them. They're not killable, even with all of my gear, like a lot of these people. So I don't know. It's if you lower time to kill, or sorry, increase time to kill for everyone, like overall, like there are some classes that are like literally just not gonna die. Like I don't know if you ever watched, if any of you guys watched the Mystic matches this weekend, but like they looked like shies fighting each other. They like literally don't die. And Succs and Awakened DKs and like there's a bunch of classes that when they fight Mystics and Strikers is like, dude, I don't do any damage to this. So
But I mean, you don't have to just increase TTK across the board though, right? You can make specific targeted like changes to try to increase TTK amongst like, like 3/4 of the classes, let's say. Right? Some of the higher DPS like burst classes. I don't know. I was just thinking because like another thing that I thought is like we often compare this game to a fighting game, and for good reason. But like fighting games do not have like low TTKs. They're very
No.
long. Very,
No.
very long TTKs in fighting games.
But this game
So
is
it's
more
like-
catch, like in 1v1 anyway, this game is way more catch based than like combo. There's no extended combos. Like you can't, it's not like you can throw someone in the air and continue your combo and throw them down and continue your combo and you have to get through like 2 life bars.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's like
true,
it's
that's
like
true.
different. I don't know, it's tough because like in large scale it would be nice, and then in 1v1s it's like kind of weird. I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to, I don't know. It's so hard to say.
I think
Because-
because of large scale, people love when they do a lot of damage and they kill people and kill a whole bunch of people. Damage is always going to be something that the devs promote.
Yeah, the other thing too is like some of the time to kill, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but some of the low time to kill makes it possible for newer players to kill players that have been playing a long time. Because like if everyone became tankier, which is what you would be the net result of increasing time to
Only
kill.
veterans would be able to kill veterans.
Yeah, if you had low gear, you're not gonna be able to kill. There's just a smaller amount of people you're gonna be able to kill. So I don't know. I mean, I like the idea. I like the sweet spot for me, and maybe you guys agree or disagree, but it having to do a full combo feels good, right? Like if I catch someone and I have to do a little bit of damage, refloat them, and then finish my combo and like actually execute a proper long combo, like that feels like a good time to kill to me. But when people die like just in one ability while standing up, it doesn't feel good. I don't know. Like whenever I fight, like Rez, whenever I go into Node War and we happen to be against like a smaller guild or a newer guild in T2s in my guild, like I don't enjoy sitting there fighting someone where like they're all dying in one ability. Like I actually think that sucks. It doesn't feel good. I know they're not having fun. It's not like competitive. Like there's like that sweet spot where like every time you catch someone, you have to do like a decent combo to kill them like is way more fun. So I don't know. I mean, it might be a little bit too low. I just don't know how you'd balance it with like high-end gear, like the people that are super tanky.
I mean, you would have to make defensive stats scale up faster, but lower the ceiling, or at least like not change the ceiling, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting idea that I would like almost it's like almost like the problem with renown score back in the day. Well, one, it was stupid that you got defensive stats for getting AP. That was the first big problem. But the other problem is that it was distributed in such a weird way. Like if it was redistributed on like the lower end, like it wouldn't feel that bad. I don't know. Like yeah, if your DP was more effective earlier on instead of later on, might actually feel a little bit better. Which is kind of what they tried to do with the soft cap on DR, but maybe the soft cap I don't even know. Maybe it starts a little bit too at the wrong place.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a thought that I was having the other day that I thought I would ask you guys about.
I definitely feel in Node War time to kill right now is way too low. In 1v1s, it just depends on the gear. Sometimes it's low, sometimes it's not. But in Node War, like overall, people die really fast. So, I don't know. Let's see. 197.
There's other fundamental problems with that, though. I mean, there's some classes that literally depend on being able to kill really quickly. Assassin classes, for example, they can't sit in the ball and just throw out damage and just get kills via chip damage.
Right, but it's like everyone is one-shotting everyone. Like, should Succ Wiz be able to just TP in the middle of a group, use 2 skills, and get 5 kills? Like, I don't know.
That's when you would.
I don't
That's
think
when you
so.
would look at a system where if you're doing AOE damage, it needs to be split. Like
I mean, we
maybe
have
go
that.
back to
It's
split
called split
damage. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, they took it off a lot of skills. Remember that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I understand like assassins, but see the problem is like when you start talking about well assassins need to be able to do damage. Well, like is there defined roles in this game? Is there assassins? Is there tanks? Is there like and then how like are we now going to start balancing around like those roles because this game isn't a trinity, right? And this game really doesn't have roles either. Like the really only class with a role is shy, right? So it's kind of like I don't know if every class is supposed to do everything, then why should Succession Kuno be able to two skill people just because quote it's an assassin? Well, it's like everybody's supposed to do everything. So I don't know. It's like
I think that's an error on the dev's fault for
Well,
how they designed.
I don't think
classes.
everyone's supposed to do everything in the fact that they're supposed to be able to participate in all aspects of the game. But you can have like within the like for example within a node war like different classes having strengths in different areas. The problem is that there's too many classes right now that literally you just can't use in node war. They have no place.
Yeah. Well, I would agree with that, but I also feel like that's mostly because of the dominance of 2 classes, now 3 in particular,
Our favorite classes.
rather than the malfeasance or the incompetence of the other classes' kits, right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Just something to consider. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of like the idea of the way they're doing these the crystals. Or sorry, not the crystals, but the augments for the accessories, like the idea that you could choose to put a little bit more damage on or more tankiness. I don't know. I think that they're adding a few more ways to get a little bit more tanky when we get those new special attack evasion crystals, but then they're also adding damage. So I don't know. It's like kind of, I don't know. It's tough. We'll see kind of how it plays out. But right now it does feel like in Node War, to me, time to kill feels low. In 1v1s, it feels okay, but it just depends on like, I mean, if I'm fighting someone with a totally massive gear disparity, obviously they die. So it just depends. 197mm cannon said it's interesting hearing Vert say he thinks Succ classes are boring because they don't have the C swap. I think a lot of players don't enjoy having a C swap if they picked a class solely because they like the way the Awakening weapon looked. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know. It just depends. Some people love the C swap, some people don't. I actually think C swapping is really cool on a lot of classes.
It adds a lot of tech, but yeah, it's not for everybody.
On some classes, it feels weird. But on some classes, they did a good job of making so you don't really have to. On the class where, like, I always felt like Mystic doesn't really have to C-swap that much compared to some other classes. Like, you're C-swapping constantly on Ninja. Like, basically every 2 to 3 seconds, you're swapping. And, like, Mystic, they have a little bit more natural flow back and forth where you don't C-swap. So, I don't know. I think they do a decent job balancing it. And then you have Succ if you just don't want to deal with it at all. Eumenidai says, prove me wrong, Pearl Abyss can't properly balance Ranger and Archer because they don't want to code and add gravity into their skills. Rain of Arrows in Terra 2014, Descending Current in 2021. I don't know. Descending Current, I feel like is such a good skill, though. Rain of Arrows was busted, though. This shit did way too much damage. I hated that skill.
Yeah.
Did you play Terra? You remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I didn't get that serious in Terra, but I joined one guild that like participated in like the battlegrounds thing, and I remember that was something they complained about a lot.
Yeah, you're just getting hit by that shit until you die. It was awful. Touch My Weasel says, with you, Rez, I thought DK was pretty much in a good spot between Awakening and Succ having the perfect trade-off. Awakening having more movement and more range, while Succ has more power while losing the range and a lot more in your face. I thought both kits were perfectly balanced as is, but now Woo can't wait to see how this ends. I think it's still going to have that dynamic, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's just saying he already thought that the class was balanced, and now they're getting all these buffs. Which is, I think I said that last week, because I was like, I don't really get why they're getting all these buffs. And it honestly seems to me that DK is like in a pretty good place, honestly.
I mean, I don't know. I think the iframe buff was super necessary. I think that the Twilight Dash SA, we'll see. It is scary, but I don't know. It's kind of nice. I'd be a hypocrite to say that that's unfair. I want the same thing on Awaken Kuno for Lunar Dash. And then the damage buffs, at least for Awakening, was their pre-Awaken kit for combo damage, because their combo damage is not as good as Succession. And then Spirit Legacy got a little bit of, so its trade is going to be better in Awakening. And then Shattering Darkness and Flow Bombardment, I don't think is going to be that impactful as far as like just sheer damage dealt. And those are the only ones they really buffed. And then Succ, the only one that's kind of weird to me is Wheel of Fortune. Outside of that, though, their damage buffs aren't like that crazy. I don't know. Swaggy Dude says first. He's completely wrong. He's like days late. He's like 2 days late.
It's good effort, though.
Yeah. Zeus Duma says, I stopped playing, but I wanted to go back into the game, or get back into the game and started watching all the podcasts since I quit. I just passed the one about the class tourney thing. When you guys talk about Divios, is it the same one that was the Smite World Champ? Yes, it is. World famous Divios, the Smite Champion. That is exactly who that is, Zeus Duma. And
are you actual, or are you memeing? Because I have no idea.
No, yeah, Divios won like a huge Smite tournament and was considered the Smite World Champ.
Oh,
yeah.
How far he's fallen?
Yep. And his opponent, Hunter HD, also won an Apex game with Bear once.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, those are two things of equal value.
Mm-hmm. Very similar accomplishments, I would say.
I mean, winning the world champion and carrying Bear to a victory in any game. I mean, those are very...
that's true.
Those are very equitable.
Big fucking burden.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unless
Doctor
Bear has a rock, then he might.
Dr.
little
Mahara
managed.
says, great video cast as usual, not entirely related to this, but was watching one of Frosty's Twitch streams and he fucking predicted that essay change on Sage Rift Chain. Frosty now a PA dev or what? I did. I called it that week, dude, early. I said, you know what?
This is why my class never gets buffed too.
Yeah, it is. For the truth is that PA sends their proposed changes or what they think they should change for the classes to
So
Frosty,
and
and
he
every
feeds him
single
Maywa
week
and
they
he just
send
marks it out
Maywa
and says, "All right,
buffs.
that's it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
every single week they send him Maywa buffs. He's like, I don't know. I don't think you really need to worry about that.
Dude, I get basically my Maywa buff sheet looks like this sheet you sent me, Reslar, with just the red lines through all the Maywa
Just
buffs.
red lines through it, yeah.
It's like,
Just-
Maywa gets this. Nope. Maywa gets this.
Just-
Nope.
just-
Maywa gets this. Nope.
Just have in the notes itself that it says Chase in there, but put nothing next to it,
Yeah.
and then just let them all wonder what happened.
Yeah, I just always send back like, hey, let's hold off on some of those changes you did to the skills, but if we could fix the hair clipping on costume 4, would be fantastic. Thank you.
You see what's funny about that is like we meme about it all the time, but like I think Frosty's suggestion that he came up with like a couple months ago now, I think, of having the chase iframe on a separate cooldown. Like, I don't know. I personally feel like that would be a really good change for both Mooses and Maywas, honestly. Being able to choose when to use that iframe because you don't have like a lot of them.
It would be pretty huge, honestly.
Yeah, that would be a really good change for you guys. So it's kind of funny. But yeah.
Yeah. Call class changes, but can't guess any AOA wins. True. Zeagle
Hey, he's in
says,
second place right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
dude, yesterday all the people I said I thought we were gonna win, like we're losing. It was sad. Zeagle says, I sincerely agree that when a new thing comes out, KR is the first one to get it and test it should stop. I'm pretty sure the feedback given by the global audience will be far more constructive and helpful. I thought with the Together as One campaign, we would have global releases instead of KR being the second test server.
Imagine thinking that was ever about getting everyone on the same patch and not about transferring KR's fucking cash shop to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Depends on who you talk to, I guess.
Is there a ninja change? The ninja change is there's like an attack speed buff change that's like kind of complex that I can't get into because it's late and Reslar has to go to bed. And I told him this wasn't going to be 4 hours and it's 3 hours and 35 minutes. Larice Kenneth says, hard agree with Reslar on the town spawn during Node War.
Yeah, that was a stupid change you suggested. Don't ever do that again.
Dude, I just make it so basically you can't build. Just period. Just make it so we can't flag, make it so we can't build. It'll solve all these problems.
Legitimate question. Do you think they should have like predetermined build spots? Because this is something I thought about afterwards. Do you think they should have predetermined build spots? Like, here are the 8 places you can build. Once these spots are taken, you can't build on this node anymore.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Actually.
You think that would be a good change?
I think that'd be a cool change. Also, yeah, I do think that would be a cool change, to be honest. Like, there's designated like war spots that are with a certain distance between each one in all directions. That's like, matter where you end up with the enemy, like, you're gonna have a relatively far distance and not whatever. I don't know. It's like, yeah. Right now, it's so dumb. Especially like just think of the Catfish Island. Like, why? Why is that a thing?
Well, I mean, I think most people would agree that that just needs to be removed, like as a place that you can build in general.
I think it's hilarious, though.
It's just really dumb.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all the comments. Thank you, everyone, for commenting on the podcast. If you want to hear from us or respond to us or argue with us or tell us we're wrong, feel free to do so in the YouTube comments every week.
To delete your comment?
We read those. We do check them right beforehand, and if they do suggest us to go to any random weird website, we will probably delete it. We don't need any more friends of the opposite gender. Thank you, though. Yeah. So Thank you guys so much. Reza, you want to close this out?
Sure. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this episode. Congrats to Nayashe on the new house, and
Thank you.
Yep.
welcome to we're glad to have you back, man. Glad to have you back.
Appreciate
built
it.
right there in that corner in Arena Varsha.
Hell yeah, that's where I placed my house.
That's where he lives, dude.
Shout out again to all the patrons as well as all the Twitch subscribers on our individual channels. If you'd like to check out those Twitch streams, you can find Frosty's at twitch.tv/SoFrosty, Nayashe's at twitch.tv/Nayashe_NA, and myself at twitch.tv/NotReslar. All those links and more will be in the description, obviously. And yeah, finals this weekend. Looking forward to that. I'm certain we're gonna be enhancing because we're probably not going to record until after, right? So we're probably going to be enhancing on the podcast.
Actually, well, we'll talk off stream, but I was thinking about recording Friday, having it done early, so that way we don't even have to think about it on like Monday.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. So
Yeah.
maybe not. We'll have to see. But either way, somebody's losing 2 billion silver. Someone's losing 1 billion silver. Either next podcast or the one after. And it's most likely going to be me. So
Yeah.
check out future episodes, and we will catch you guys later.
Riddler's gonna lose so much that he needs to spend 3 bill.
I am. Yeah.